Yes, people. We are back live. We are back live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube for another edition of the ManDem United podcast, the podcast dedicated to all things Manchester United. So please keep all your comments, all your questions, Manchester United related. Please big up to everyone who's supporting Sarcasm City TV. As always, Friday edition of the show. So I'm joined by my brother from the best coast, which is the West Coast. Eddie is in the building. Yes, Eddie, what are you telling me? You good?
What up, though? You already know. I'm out here cooling, man. It's the last of the work day. Thank God. We cooling, man.
Love that.
Got the dub, so it's been smooth sailing ever since.
Yeah, man, 100%. We will be discussing that. We'll be discussing the Brentford game. We'll also be looking ahead to the Everton game as well. Of course, the Europa League tie against Sevilla, the FA Cup tie coming up against Brighton in the semi-final. Obviously, a potential FA Cup final, which will be a Manchester derby. And as always with Manchester United, there's always a lot of talk going on to whether that's Jadon Sancho, whether that's David De Gea, whether it's Bruno Fernandes, whether it's maybe potential incomings to the squad. You never know. But yeah, we'll start there already. Actually, we will start there. We'll start with the victory.
Mm.
Manchester United. It was 1-0 against Brentford, but a very good team performance overall. Very dominant performance. But what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think most players who stepped out there had moments where they had an impact on the game.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I think the common theme that I'm seeing people just totally gloss over because I watched the Troops podcast.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mons, but listen, people, I know Mons got a little bit of agenda, maybe a little bit, maybe
Oh yeah, of
he's
course, man's got an agenda. Yeah, that's why I said let
you
him get.
know,
I said I let him get it off. I was like, all right, cool, get your agenda off in it because it sounds good. It's a great. It's a great tweet. It's a
because
great
it's
space.
yeah, it's like people love to just the answer is always right in front of them. Why is it Ollie Ball and this and that? Well, it's Ollie Ball because it's still Ollie players.
Well, mhm,
Like people, Ollie had 3 years
that's
with
fine.
these dudes,
Mhm,
building them on bad habits.
yep.
Ten Hag has been here a couple months.
Mhm,
We haven't even hit a year yet, people.
yeah.
And the only people who signify or symbolize what he's trying to do on the pitch, like Flawless said, are the new signings. And to an extent, Rashford. But I think for me, I knew he could do well with Rashford because he did well with Haller when he came from West Ham to
Mhm,
Ajax last season.
mhm,
If you look at his improvement from what he looked like at West Ham to what he looked like at Ajax, it was night and day.
mhm,
So I knew there was the potential for Rashford to somewhat grow and shine. Because I thought that he had all the intangibles, kind of the things like I talk about shit you just can't coach. You can't coach how quick twitch of an athlete Rashford is, how big he is. Pause, and just like his ability to physically put his imprint on the game.
facts.
Like
Yeah.
even when he's not doing it, your defender not only has to watch it, think about where he is when he has the ball, but where he is when he's not with the ball.
Mhm, mhm,
And it's like that's why he does so well on the left because he has one person and he has all that space to make a decision. You put him in
yeah.
the middle, he can find a gap, get a goal. We've seen him get goals from the striker position as well.
To your point, Brentford. You know what I'm saying? Who's playing
Brentford,
Sancho?
right?
Who's playing through the
Right.
middle? Yeah. Hmm.
And then the city goal, right? He was playing through the middle.
Yes.
Garnacho found him and he played it through the middle. He got his goal.
Great point.
So
Great point.
he can do it, but
Mm.
it's not his best. You want him on the left, which is why even the Sancho thing is an issue now because when you buy players like him, when you have a
Mm.
player like Rashford, you have a player like Anthony,
Mm.
you need them to be at their absolute best, meaning I have to start you where you're the best at.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And
Mm.
as a left winger, I think that's where Sancho primarily wants to play. We have to give that to Rashford because of the form that he's in right now. So this
Mhm.
he doesn't necessarily get to build up his identity as a player because he's battling with one of the most informed players in the world right now.
Yeah. True. True.
So that's the only thing I got out of it. Like the performance was good. I think from the midfield wise, people say Bruno had a good game. Again, I just think it's because you didn't see him kick the ball over the pitch, but his execution still wasn't there. People like I don't, and you can get it's just my opinion. People don't come after me. It's just my opinion. Okay, Sabitzer, like I don't give anybody in the midfield plaudits because I hold them the most responsible because of due to our dysfunctionality as a team.
First, that's fair enough.
I
And I
can't.
understand that. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like the back four gets put on undue pressure because the midfield can't control the ball. The attackers can't get comfortable in attacking because the midfield can't provide them the service on a consistent basis to be a threat. The only one who does that, and that's what I noticed about this game, was the center backs were more involved in the build-up play. To me, it seems
You
like
said that in the comment section as well. You did state that. No, you didn't say that. You said that on stream actually. Tell a lie.
yeah,
You said that on stream.
yeah,
Yeah, you said it on stream. My bad. Yeah, you did.
no
Yeah, go on,
worries,
camera.
no worries. And I'm seeing Martinez play direct passes that lead to us in their third. Like, and those are better passes than I've seen Sabitzer play at this point than McTominay's ever played in his Manchester United career. Bruno hoofs it, right? Like his passes have some air underneath them. They don't roll. Like that's just a little minute difference, but that just kind of tells you like in those tight spaces where you need to drive the ball in with a little bit of finesse. He's not necessarily too good at that.
Yeah.
And so long story short, man, it's just like you saw the very best of us and you saw the consistent worst of us in this situation, That's just how I deep because I thought Malacia came in early, held his own.
Velocity was good. Velocity was good.
Yep. Delo came in, held his own, and we already know what the two center backs are about. So I give them the credit over everything. And then Rashford scoring the goal. Like those were the differences for me.
No, that's fair. I think it was overall. I've spoken on this in depth. Like yesterday, I spoke on it. Obviously, in the watch along, we spoke on it as well. I think it was just a solid team performance from everyone. Dominated the ball, dominated possession, limited them in terms of offense. They had one shot on target. Only criticism I have is that we didn't create too many clear-cut chances. We had a lot of half chances, but we were well worthy of the win. And the 1-0 flattered them more than it flattered us. But I just wanted to see a response. I didn't think I was dreading that game. After the Newcastle game, and I looked at the midfield options, I was like, this could really get tricky. Yes, Brentford have not been in the best form, but they're still a team who can hurt you.
Right,
and we managed somehow to put in a solid, like that's been our best performance in weeks. Easily. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the last time I bet if I run through let me actually run through our fixture list. I don't remember the last time. Forget result, people. I'm just talking performance-wise. That was the most dominant display we've had in a strong minute. Like, I can't remember the last time because even the Betis game, which we won 4-1, there was a period when it went 1-1 where the game was in the balance. The game and we was fighting. Like the game was in the balance and oh my, we was fighting and then Anthony scored and then we kind of kicked on from there. But I'm looking through the games here. I'm looking. Yeah, you could even West Ham game that we won 3-1. That was 2 late goals. We beat Newcastle in the final. That was a good performance. The Barcelona game, the first half, we weren't good. Leicester, we was good. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I swear, no. Leicester, they was the better side in the first half. And then I think we scored late in the first half. And in the second half, we bopped them off the park.
Yeah, it
but
was
I'm looking
a
here.
start.
Look how far back I'm at the start of February, people. I'm talking Forest in the EFL Cup. Reading in the FA Cup. Like the 2 Forest games. Manchester City, I thought we was good at home. But see what I'm talking about? We're going back as January, people. We're in April. And I'm talking about forget results, performances. So that's what pleased me the most was the performance. But what I forgot leading up into that game is how good we've been at home. And how much that I underestimated the impact of Manchester United playing at Old Trafford this season. Because if we're away at Brentford, we don't put in that performance. I think we probably drop points. You know what I'm saying? If the game after Newcastle is like, all right, you're going midweek away to Brentford. Because we have the best home defensive record. The best people. We've conceded the least amount of goals. We've only lost 1 match at home. We've lost back-to-back matches once this season, and that was at the start of the season. That was at the start, like the very top of the season. So we bounced back from defeats as well. So that's why I give Ten Hag full credit. I give Ten Hag full credit for what he's doing with these players. And Eddie, you hit the nail on the head. And I wish I'd said that on Troops' podcast and take that. When people say, oh, it's Ollie's, and take that point, and I credit you for it. When people say it's Ollie ball, yeah, they're Ollie players. Like, what we talking about here? It's not like he's got new players. These players are just not that good, as I keep stating all the time. And I won't let the dominant performance against Brentford at home make fool me. It doesn't fool me. It doesn't make me think any different of these players. It really doesn't. And I'm having to go back to January, February for the last time we put in a good performance outside of cup competitions. Where Newcastle, yeah, we can say we was decent. The EFL Cup games, cool. Maybe Reading, but I'm talking Premier League. Never mind away from home. Saeed asked me that. He was like, when's the last time we put in a great performance away from home in the Premier League? But yet we have the 5th best away record. Working miracles. I don't think we've played. I think the last time, the most dominant performance away from home in the league was probably Everton. Ronaldo was still here. It was before the World Cup. He scored the winning goal. So, again, this summer I keep talking about it. And every time I talk about this team and this squad and this manager, I'm like, it's so important in regards to the investment in the summer. Such an important summer. Again, you lot, big up to everyone in the chat. Continue to get your questions in, people. Continue to get your questions in. Just please keep them Manchester United related. Let's bump up the likes as well. Bump up the likes, you lot. We're at, how many likes we're at? All right, we're over 20 likes. Let's get up to 30 likes, people. And also subscribe. Get us to 6,250 subscribers. Make sure after this show, you check out the Sarcasm City TV special I did with Matisse. Make sure you check that out. It was 2 hours long. A1 show, you know what I'm saying, talking about that whole heap of mess that's going on at Chelsea. And you know, Matisse, very knowledgeable, very honest, you know what I'm saying? So he's going to be brutally honest in his assessment of what's going on. 100%. So make sure you check that out. Big up to Stephanie G, who says big up Flawless and Eddie. Big up to RJ as well.
Stephanie, hope you well.
Yeah, big up to Stephanie G. Big up RJ. Big up Vafo. Big up Marcel as well. Don't worry, I'm starring the comments in regards to Luke Shaw and Christian Eriksen. Big up to Malcolm. Big up Play Simple. Ed. Big up Steve as well. Says, "Sup guys, hope y'all smash the Scouts Mackhams tomorrow. I hate Everton." Yeah, Kendall let me know about that actually. I was surprised. I didn't know Newcastle and Everton had a thing. I didn't know they had an issue until she told me about that.
Huh.
So yeah, she warned me about not warned me about that. She told me about that, and I was like, interesting. Because Everton get along with Sunderland, and obviously they're ups too. So yeah. Marcel says they're not all Ollie players now. Ten Hag got some key players who walked in straight into the team. Big money signings, but I hear you. Yeah, and when those big money signings play, we play much different. That's why everyone's talking in particular about Casemiro.
Oh, that's what I said too.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about Casemiro, like, yes, we play much different without Casemiro. Yeah, because Casemiro is arguably our best player overall. Same way we play much different without Martinez. We play much different without Eriksen. Those 3 in particular, especially down the spine of the team. And Ten Hag's getting results. Performances, he's getting results. Like I said, one of the best home records in the league. I think it's 2nd or 3rd, 5th best away record. Do we need to improve on the road? Absolutely. Is there still levels to go? Absolutely. But I'm all for what Ten Hag's doing. I will. Everton are in survival mode. They'll never let us off easy. That's not going to be easy. Everton's never an easy game. Everton's never, ever an easy game. We'll go to this. RJ says, Flawless and Eddie, would you take McAllister at United? Eddie, your thoughts on it? Man sucked his teeth, you know.
What I'm saying, man, like, dude, it's that World Cup hype is different, man. Mm-hmm. Like, and here's my thing with that Argentina squad, bro. Mm-hmm. It was like, of all the midfielders, Enzo was the one, because Enzo was the one playing the passes. You could see that they were like, yeah, okay, that's dope. Before this World Cup, was anybody really talking about McAllister like this?
Yeah, you spot on. Yeah. Great, valid point.
He's been here. We know who he is.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't until I seen him in the Argentina lineup.
I just knew because I was getting pissed off that he was getting worked by Brighton. So I'm looking at all the plays, right? I'm like, oh, who is this cat, man? What was this? Like, you remember how we had Cucurella looking so good that Manchester City and Chelsea out here spent the bag for him, dog. I'm telling you, the dark ages of Manchester United, bro. When they make a documentary on this shit, and they put the the Heaven's Gate music by the first time they showed the picture of Ten Hag in the documentary, it's gonna be scandalous. It's going to be scandalous, fam. What was it 4-2, 4-2 to Watford? Maguire red card. Oh my lord!
For what are you talking about when we got beat by Watford?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
gonna be when the music shift.
oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna be,
Nah, it's 4-1 fam. It was 4-1. It's
4-1.
4-1. Yeah,
I
yeah.
just
Shout out to Watford for that, man.
yeah,
Well,
man.
forever, Watford will forever have a place in my heart for what they did. They did what Liverpool and
Absolutely.
Manchester City couldn't and got rid of Volley. So forever, Watford, shout out to the Hornets. Them, you my guys. You know what I'm saying? And I already mess with you lot anyway, because I like Troy Deeney and the rest of the man them that are over there at Watford. Plus, they don't like Arsenal. I love, you know what I'm saying, and that.
That's what I'm
What
saying.
Watford did. Always, man, in that game for what they did. Because it was
Yeah.
2-1, and I believe if it was 2-1, that man would have kept his job. But
Hey,
Watford put the nail in the coffin, lowered him into the ground. You know what I'm saying? And that. But sorry, Eddie, go on, carry on.
no, I took the shovel and threw the dirt on him 2 times. I love to see it. You love to see it. But yeah, man, it was, bro. These dudes are still around, man. So people, until we get them up out of here, it's not going. You're gonna see this every time. You're gonna see this every time. Marcel, look, he might be a good player. He might be a good player. What I'm saying is, was he ever talked about like this before the World Cup?
True.
That's it. Maybe he's a good player. Is he what we need? No. I don't believe so. I don't think I've seen enough from him technically, excuse me, to
Cool.
that's what we need. Like we already have players who try hard.
We got the yeah, we do have to try hard.
We have try hard.
As you coined him.
You got the ultimate try hard in Bruno. Bruno tries so hard he makes you think y'all good. So Steve, yeah, if you've been watching, for the people who've been watching McAllister, right, and all this stuff,
yes,
if you've been watching him and you're fans of him,
yeah,
fine. I'm not saying he's a bad
facts.
player. I'm saying it's like, yo, every team that played against him in the Prem saw him before the World Cup. After the World Cup, they said, yeah, this is the guy. But I'm trying to figure out what was the difference when you played him under Potter. You probably played him under De Zerbi too.
Yeah, he did come looking under his number. I'm looking at his numbers here. And Steve, what you gotta understand is you watch everything. You're like a true man of football. Most people aren't. Like, I know you watch McAllister dead ass, Steve. You know what I'm saying? Word to my New Yorkers, dead ass, Steve.
Yeah.
I know. You know what I'm saying that you watched him. What I'm saying is that most people, Steve, are not you. You watch everything. You know what I'm saying? You could tell me about the Lithuanian league and I would believe you. You know what I'm saying? There's no league in the world, Steve, that I don't believe you've not watched or have some knowledge about. If you joined and was like, yo, the Moldovan league, I'd be like, I believe you watched that. Genuinely, but not everyone's a you, Steve. But go on, carry on, Eddie. Carry on.
This is what I'm saying. Like, and shout out to Steve for the super chat. You want to read it out?
Yeah. He says, Eddie, I would say the World Cup gave him the worldwide stage to show how good of a player he is and the potential upside. Well, I'm looking here, and to Eddie's defense and mine. But I'm looking here. So he joined 1920 season. He played 9 games, Premier League. Then he played 21. Then he played 33. And now he's played 24. Last season, he played 33 league games. I ain't hear anybody mention this guy.
That's it.
I ain't hear anybody mention this guy at all. You know what I'm saying? Was Basuma, because Basuma only moved. Yeah, Basuma got bought this summer, just gone. It was all about Basuma. I did not hear about McAllister. It was all Basuma.
And now that goes to another point. Okay, McAllister might be good. He might be dope. I'm not disagreeing with that. I felt his job in that Argentinian team was win the ball back, be smart on the ball, and make sure some way, somehow it gets back to Messi. Not a bad plan to have. I would have done the same shit. All I'm saying is the World Cup is a grand stage.
Yes.
But you have the best information at hand because you play in the same league as him, these other teams, and you have scouts who are focused on preparing your team to play them. Like that's what their job is. Oh, we have scouts who break down all the London teams the other areas of the UK that these teams come from. We have scouts positioned there to watch the games. They watch these players. Who's next? Who's this? And all the Brighton players, if we're going to be honest, once they've left there, haven't done that well.
That's true. The only one that's doing well, and that's been a short period of time, is Trossard. He's the only one. You know, Cucurella, Basuma's not played, Mopai. I'm sure there's more, but they're three off the top of my head that I can name who have left there, and it's like, not really done the business. Really not. Like I said, I'm not even saying McAllister's not a good player.
We've never said that. Yeah,
people are telling me he's more of a 10. When I've watched him, he's never stood out to me. He's more, like you said, industrious, hard working, covering ground, which is all well and good, but there's better options. Plus, for the price they want, if you're going to sign a midfielder from Brighton, go get Casado.
That's the thing. That's my thing too. Like,
if we are going to do that,
I'm looking at it from a Manchester United perspective. This is not a breakdown of his game, right? I think he's part Scottish, Ronan. I think he's part Scottish.
That's when he stood out to me, when I was like, how is he called McAllister and he's playing in the Argentinian side?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
That's what stood out to me. I was like, huh? But yeah, go on, carry on.
Yeah, it's just like, with none of this conversation should be an indictment on him as a player. When I say he's not what we need, it's not what Manchester United needs. Now, if other teams feel they need that type of player, that's fine. They can go out there and get him. Right? But I'm just looking at it as, I need players who are creative. Yes. I have Rashford. I'm going to get a striker. And the biggest competition is going to be on that right wing. That's going to be the biggest competition, because you have Anthony, Sancho, Ahmad. So who out of those three is going to take that position by storm and make it their own? Right now, the manager has faith in Anthony playing in that right wing position, and even the Anthony agenda. Hey, you people out there, keep trying. You're not going to change my mind. I still see it. I think, for me, again, when one of my favorite players in the Prem is what's his face over there in Chelsea, not in Chelsea, in City, left foot fucking
Bernardo Silva.
Not Silva.
Foden.
No. Mahrez.
Oh, Mahrez, okay.
When Mahrez can make it work in this league, I have all the faith in the world. Okay, I really do. Like, again, it's because the profile of player, like, certain players in the Prem can make it with their heads, right? Because again, I'll just end on this with the McAllister point, Steve. Because I don't need a McAllister if I have a Bruno. That's my thing.
Yeah, because Steve, to answer you, because you're saying I think McAllister would fit you guys very well. Big up for the super chat as well. Says I trust him to play in a few different midfield roles. Great football IQ. Ten Hag values this greatly. Wonderful with both feet. Technical. I hear all this, but what is he? Man is saying he's a 10. There's better if there's better 10s. If man is saying he's an 8 or 6, there's better 8s and 6s. I don't think, because he's not a backup to Casemiro, and I don't believe he's an upgrade on Eriksen. And there's better 10s. So that's how I'm looking at it. For the price point we're talking about as well, I'm looking at it overall. I'm not saying he's not a good player. Seems a tidy player. I've not watched a hell of a lot of him, but I've watched Brian and he's never stood out to me. Even in the World Cup, he didn't stand out to me. He didn't. McAllister far better than Bruno, in my opinion, or much more of a team player. Who's not better than Bruno, Steve? The bar's on the floor. Everybody's better than Bruno.
But we got to think about it like
there's somebody in the chat watching this right now who's probably technically better than Bruno. Probably.
The fans love him, so he's not going anywhere. I would get rid of Bruno too. If it was like, get rid of Bruno, bring in McAllister, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, without doubt. Yeah, of course. That's without doubt. But if we're talking number 10, go get me a Madison. You know what I'm saying?
That's where
I'm taking a Madison over a McAllister in the 10. And then, like I said, he's not a backup to Casemiro because that's not his role. And I don't think he's better than Eriksen either. So,
So then now you got another person saying that he's better.
HKKN, to get to this, I can categorically tell you McAllister is about all-around midfielder than Eriksen and Bruno. It's not about World Cup hype. Do I believe he's better than Bruno? Better than Eriksen? No. Because this time last, all right, so let's break it down. This man played 33 games last season and nobody was talking about him. He played 33 games last season for Brighton and nobody was talking about him. And when I say nobody, I'm not talking at the 1% in a Steve. I'm talking in general. He was not talked about with moves to a Manchester United or a Liverpool. That's a fact. Because most of you lot have been here and listening to me and Eddie for over a year now. So that's a fact. Man, I'm saying he's definitely better than Eriksen based off of what? I'm saying, what are we talking about? What are we basing that on?
Pass better than Eriksen.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not. You know what I'm saying? Now, I disagree. Flawless, he stood out in the World Cup. You think he's getting most of the recognition now? I think because they won it.
Yeah.
I think because they won it. And I'm not saying he's a bad player, but to say he's categorically better than Eriksen based off of what? This was not a conversation last year.
Y'all not remember what happened with James Rodriguez?
This was not a conversation, and that's a fact. This was not a conversation. What we're not gonna do is change the past. United have been looking for midfielders for yonks. Years. Nobody this summer just gone when we needed midfielders was talking about McAllister. Now McAllister's better than Eriksen. When he was getting outshone by Basuma. Like, what are we doing here?
People, like, look.
Let's not go overboard with this, man. Like, let's take time. Let's take time and that. HKM big up for the super chat as well, but let's take time. Like, he played 21 matches the 2020-21 season. Nobody went talking. It's this season that this has happened. Cool. Maybe he has stepped up. Like, I'm not even disputing that. But then, what prices are they going to be talking? Is he bad? Is he better than Caicedo?
Bro. That's the funniest point. Like, literally. So people have been watching him because we've been talking about Caicedo all this time,
and he's new as well.
Caicedo for years, even last year, even we got linked to him.
We did get linked to him. Yeah, you're right.
Right? Like this conversation for us has never been about his quality. It's been about his fit, and it's been about the conversation surrounding him. And again, I'll point back to it. James Rodriguez scores one of the craziest goals in World Cup history. People go crazy. Real Madrid drops the bag on him. Where is he now?
HKM, big up for the super chat again, says Bruno doesn't even play in the 10 anymore. Ten Hag's looking for one. Only reason people talking about Eriksen is because what happened to him and his comeback for Brentford. I'll go to the first point. Bruno does play in the 10, but we've seen him move around. Like, he didn't play in the 10 against Brentford. We have seen him get moved around. If Ten Hag looking for a 10, that is potential. That is definitely potential that he could be. Only reason people talking about Eriksen is because of what happened to him and coming back to Brentford is incorrect. People were talking about Eriksen when he was at Spurs. Let's not do this. Not do this. Go look in that Spurs side. Go look at who the creative outlet was in that Spurs Pochettino team. Because it was him, it was Dele Alli and Kane, and I'm missing someone. It was Dele Alli, Kane, Eriksen, Wanyama was in that midfield. I wish Jez was here right now. Eriksen was the creative outlet. So let's not talk like Eriksen wasn't hyped back then in that Spurs side. Behind Wanyama, you could say he was there. He was definitely the creative outlet in that team. Because Dele Alli scored goals. Kane scored goals even though created. And Wanyama and Dembele were more so the defensive players. So we're not going to discredit what Eriksen did. And then he went to Inter, did his thing. And then obviously what happened in the World Cup happened in the World Cup. Then he went to Brentford. Euros. But yeah, Eriksen's been like, no one were talking about McAllister before the season. Let's not do this. Eriksen's a baller. This is why this summer Eriksen was linked with us. He was linked with a move back to Spurs, and it was like, where's he going? Eriksen's been at the highest level for a long period of time. Like, we're not going to do that.
When Spurs were in their heyday, he was a big part of the reason why. Like, we're not, like, again, let's not forget who Spurs Eriksen was, and that technical ability does not leave you. The only thing that we get mad at Eriksen about is his work rate because of the type of system that we play.
And you know what? He's playing out of position. He ain't even a 6. He's not an 8. He's a 10. He's just good enough to play there. We're playing him out of position and people criticize him. Yeah.
Like our legit the best we've played this season by far is Casemiro, Eriksen, and Bruno in there. That's it. That's been our best midfield. That's where we got our best results. And since his injury and Casemiro's red cards, like again, you've had Casemiro, I guess, now missed 7 Premier League games. You've had Eriksen miss I don't know how many games while we've been in this kind of struggle to perform well, you know? And McAllister, again, to his credit, is a World Cup winner. On the biggest moments in the most pressurized situations, he did his thing. I'm asking.
Jez, I needed you as well, man. Fucking hell. Go on. Sorry. Carry on. Jez just showed up.
Go on, carry on. Asking people, what's the difference, man? Like, is it really just a World Cup that got y'all like this?
This is a World Cup, man. It's the World Cup. He played 33 games last season and nobody mentioned him. I even heard of him before then. Like, let's not do this. It was all about Basuma. It was all about, but like, let's not do that. Like, that's not what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? This is not what we're doing. Hey, big up to Saeed as well. You know what I'm saying? Says big up the chat, hardest working YouTuber. Hey, man, I'm loving that. Hey, to get that tag from people like you, cold. You know what I'm saying? And that love. And HKN, I get to your 2 super chats as well. I will do. But just because no one was talking about him doesn't mean he's not good. I was talking about him ever since he left. I can't believe that he was available on the free. And he says, technically, and ball retention-wise, better than Bruno. Engine-wise and defensively, better than Eriksen. Eriksen, after he left for Inter, wasn't talked about. Let's be honest, he was on the bench. He was on the bench where? Where was he on the bench?
I thought he got some time at it. I thought he got a lot of
he played. I'm looking here at his numbers. Yes, he played 17 matches at Inter Milan, and then he played 26 matches. This is 26 matches. Look at McAllister's numbers in them same minutes. So 1920. See, this is where people get caught out. 1920. He played 17 matches for Inter Milan in Serie A. 1920, McAllister played 9 matches for Brighton. What are we doing? And then 26 matches he played 2021. That's Eriksen. And then 21 matches he played for Brighton. So this guy was on Brighton's bench. Like, what are we doing though?
This is what kills me.
What we doing?
I have to repeat myself every time with this. Are not saying
yo, Marcel. I'm not saying he's not good when you say y'all never heard of him. Nobody was talking about him. Where was the links, Marcel? There was no links to McAllister to Manchester United. There was no links. I'm talking about the comparison because HKN compared the two. There's no comparison. Man said categorically McAllister's better than Eriksen. Based off of what? 1 season. Against a man who's been doing it, for pretty much his entire career. He balled at Spurs. Are we going to negate that fact? He went Serie A. Did Inter win a Serie A in that time period as well? I swear they did. You know what I'm saying? I swear they did. Someone correct me if I'm wrong if Inter won. Yeah, because Conte was over there, so I'm presuming they won. Then he came back, played well at Brentford in a relegation side, then got a move to Manchester United, and then has played well this season. What are we doing, man? I'm saying.
Seriously. And again, people, we've never said he's not good. We never said he's not good.
I'm not saying he's not good.
Simply asking, it took y'all a World Cup to start talking about him like this?
That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Jess, thanks for that one. Yeah, I knew they did. And yeah, Ed, I'm not saying I've been a big Brighton watcher. I'm just saying there was no hype surrounding this guy. This summer just gone. McAllister, there was someone find me a link where he was linked to Manchester United. No, he wasn't spoken about like that. It was
Liverpool. Like they're talking about him at Liverpool, fancy like the biggest clubs in the world.
That is not what we're doing. Yeah, HKN, Eriksen is 30, but you compared the two, not me. You know what I'm saying in that? You compared the two, not me.
Not only did you compare the two, you said one is really not all that.
You said McAllister's categorically better, and I'm saying based off of what? Yeah, Marcel, no, I don't watch the top 6, non-top 6. Actually, when I do the watch-alongs, I watch them, yeah. But there's people out there. My point is, I'm not saying he's not good. What I'm saying is nobody was stop. McAllister was not spoken about in the summer window. Where was the links? Not one of you, man, in the chat mentioned him to me, ever. Oh, yeah, United should go get McAllister. Or United are linked to McAllister. Now, all of a sudden, we should go get this guy in the summer. I'm not saying he's not good. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the hype surrounding him has come out of nowhere. Bear in mind, people weren't talking about him. I'm saying, like, yo, HKN, you compared the two. That's your comparison. I didn't compare the two. You said you're not looking at the ages. Ericsson is 6 years older than him. Not fair to compare looking back 3-4 years. You compared the two, though. You said he's better than Ericsson, and he's not. He's not better than Ericsson.
Even if he's like, again, just because he's older too, that's another point to this conversation.
Big up for the super chat though.
He has more experience. Yeah, he's more battle tested. He's more proven.
A man who's been here, was in the Premier League, joined the Premier League 2013.
Listen, people, because I do want this McAllister thing is dope. But I think you guys are again not understanding what we're saying. We're asking the question.
Yeah.
We're asking the question. People have gone after Caicedo. They've gone after Mope. They went after Trossard. They're looking at Mitoma now. People looking at Mitoma now. Who else? You like all these Brighton players. We've seen people talk glowingly about them, even the manager. What changed? What
the World Cup?
If you're a player who, because again, we have people in this chat right now who genuinely love football, right? Who just so they consume it at a dope rate, so they're able to pick and see things that other people can't see because they actually genuinely enjoy the game. They get a good perspective, right? You all may know about him. That's fair. We're saying the teams also know about him as well. They've seen him for 3 years in the same league. We're asking, and now what is Brighton? Are they like 7th?
6th or 7th. I'll double check. They're 6th or 7th anyway. I believe 6th. No, they're 6th. They're 6th. They're 6th. Yeah.
So now we got people like Jess. Thank you. We said the same thing.
Yeah, man. All of a sudden, and to Marcel, who says you don't think people can burst onto the scene. Yeah, but that makes them a good player there and then. Where's this McAllister hype come from? Because he's had not even a full season. He's had a good season this season. All of a sudden, he's better than people who have been doing it. I just think this hype is over the top. That's what I'm saying. There's no one before the World Cup. There was no one talking about him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God!
There was no one talking about him. Again, Anton, you're not understanding the point we're making. I've never said he didn't ball out. Them words have never left my mouth. I'm not saying McAllister hasn't balled out. I am not saying he isn't a quality player. Let me repeat that. I'm not saying he hasn't played well. I'm not saying he's a poor player. I'm saying there was no hype surrounding him. That's the point I'm making. Nobody mentioned this man in terms of links in the summer. That's the point I'm making. So I'm like, where is this? Eddie made the point. Where is this hype coming from? You know what I'm saying?
And it can't be a secret, people.
That's all and what I just stated there is factual. There was no links. Nobody in the chat mentioned it. That's all I'm saying. That's what it is. That's what I'm saying. Hey, HKN again, you said you take Ericsson over McAllister. I'm disagreeing with that, but that's just me. I'm not taking a man over one season in it. Who's done it for one season over someone who's consistently be good his entire career. Literally his entire career. I didn't really watch him too tough in Serie A, but I'm saying since he's been here. So from 2013 to 2023, every season he's been here, bar 2, because he was 2 seasons out. So 8 years. I'm taking the guy who's balled out 8 years over the guy who's balled out for 1 or 2 years. Bear in mind, I want to upgrade on Ericsson as well. I want to upgrade. I've said this. You know what I'm saying? I've said an upgrade. That's what it is. Yeah, Anton is mentioned hype because you man are just jumping on the bandwagon. That's why. You know what I'm saying? Hella bandwagoners. Nobody mentioned him in the chat. Man streams every day if we're going to go there. Nobody mentioned him all summer long. So if he balled out and was this good, how come none of you lot mentioned him? Answer me that. If he's balled out and he's that good, how come none of you lot want him at your football clubs? We all need midfielders. United need midfielders.
Nobody's giving the answer.
Of course, no one ain't
Nobody's giving us the answer. We've
Nobody
asked
gonna answer
y'all
that.
numerous times in this conversation.
How come none of you lot want him at your football club in the summer then? No one was like, yeah, we should go get McAllister. Nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
No,
Zero.
it was the World Cup. It was the World Cup.
And I give him the
that's what I'm
Premier League
saying.
as well. I give him the Premier League as well. I say Premier League this season if we want to throw that in the mix. But
Cole
nobody said, and we
Parker
all need
was
midfielders.
hella funny in this conversation. I think he scored against us too in that 2-1 win for them. With
I ain't gonna lie, I raised that from. I did the Men in Black thing and I raised that from my memory.
It's funny.
Again, Anton, we're not disagreeing. We're not saying he's overrated. Them words never left my mouth. I never said overrated. I'm saying you lot in particular are overhyping him.
And I've just said, like, who gives a fuck
so
about?
how come no one said they want him? Anton, who do you support? Why did you not want him at your club? You're here on a regular basis. You never mentioned him.
Who gives a fuck about PR? Who gives a fuck about, honestly? Who gives a fuck about PR? You think I give a fuck about PR?
Hella hype. Hella hype.
Honestly, you think I give a fuck about PR? I'm honestly sitting here telling y'all that Brighton get rated for their players on a regular basis, and I'm asking y'all, why is he still there? Caicedo was this close to getting up out of there for $80 million to Arsenal or Chelsea. So people have seen him up close and personal. You want to know why? Because they scouted the other players. So what is it about him that's not the marquee name? Because Brighton has had marquee names that people have wanted. They had
he's never been mentioned before. Never until now. Never.
If it's the
that's a valid point, fam. They're a team who get rated on a regular basis and people mention names. Again, people, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm saying where was all this hype in the summer? Where was all this hype last summer?
Good. I think he's a game changer? No, I don't think he's a game changer.
Anton, forget the Ericsson before you continue. Anton, forget the Ericsson thing because I didn't bring that up. HKN, yeah, I got that, Jez. HKN mentioned him. So I'm saying Ericsson is balled out this season, but that's a whole different conversation. My point is, nobody was mentioning McAllister. Anton, you've been here regular. This is the first time I've ever heard you mention this guy. Stop the shit, man. Cut the shit. You know what I'm saying in that? Just say you didn't know him like that. You know what I'm saying in that? That's what it was. Nobody mentioned him. We all need midfielders. Nobody mentioned this guy in the summer. Nobody in the chat. Anton, you was in the chat all summer long. You know what I'm saying in that? Same way with HKN. No, I don't act like Ericsson and Bruno are the best midfielders. You're not new here. So don't do that. I've already said I want to upgrade on Ericsson and I don't rate Bruno. What are we talking about? See, this is where you man start reaching. You know what I'm saying in that? This is where you man start reaching.
Maybe this will gauge because this is a player who we
I know he's moved the goalpost.
McAllister or Madison, people in the chat. McAllister or Madison, who's a better player? Because I'm interested. I just want to know who's a better player.
Marcel, I know you said you answered it. I'm looking at you said I don't think it's over the top. I think he's because underrated. That's why he wasn't getting the recognition and the hype previously. If he's that good as you lot saying he is, you lot should have been hyping him. That's the point I'm making. If he was that good, you lot would have been hyping him. If he's that much of a baller and he's underrated, that means people are paying attention to the hype. And that means he can be a good player. A player can be good and people can bandwagon him. That means man are jumping on the bandwagon. No, shot. That's what it is. This is what this comment here is saying, Marcel. This is what this comment here is saying. And bear in mind, I did not make the Ericsson comparison, people. A player I want an upgrade on. So go get me an upgrade. Go get me a De Jong type. Go on, you man gonna lie and tell me McAllister's better than De Jong now, innit? All right, this is what we're talking about. Just admit that it's a bandwagon thing. That's not shot, but it's a bandwagon thing. Nobody mentioned this guy in the summer. Anton was in the comment section all summer long. Didn't mention McAllister once. Not a one time. Didn't see his name from any of you, man. None of you, man. All females. You know what I'm saying? None of you, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, man? You know what I'm saying? And to McAllister or Sabitzer, I want Sabitzer as a squad player. So I would take Sabitzer for 20 million. But I don't think you get McAllister for that. But I want Sabitzer at 5. Our 5th choice midfielder in an ideal world. Brighton let go of Basuma and Cucurella in the summer. They did not want to let him go. Did someone come in for McAllister and we don't know? Where was the bids?
If you think Brighton is turning
Marcel,
down
right again. Marcel, right again, because I didn't see it. Yeah, go on.
If you think Brighton is turning down a check because they didn't want...
Before you continue, man said, who was Ericsson before he went to Tottenham? He went to Tottenham 10 years ago. What we
Bro,
doing here? Man are just reaching. You know
that's
what I'm saying?
crazy.
Man are just
Come
reaching
on
now, innit?
now,
Man are
like,
just reaching, innit? Man are just reaching, innit? You
hey
know what I'm
man,
saying?
you
And
know
that.
what's
Man are
crazy?
just reaching because we right.
Yeah,
Man are just it's just hella reaching.
McAllister don't need an agent. He got y'all.
Yeah,
He got
man.
y'all.
All of a sudden, innit? Nobody mentioned this guy. You know what I'm saying? I live streamed every day during the summer. Every single day. I did ManDem United at least 3-4 times a week. Q&As, you know what I'm saying? 2-3 times a week. Nobody mentioned McAllister. All of a sudden, it's go get McAllister. Whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Whatever,
That's where
man.
we at, man.
You know what I'm saying?
He's like, Jess, tell him he's
Yeah.
Ericsson
We
has been class everywhere he's gone, people. We're
I was
not
at Ajax since 09, but we move. I'm just looking here at the numbers like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Anton, nobody said that Ericsson is at his best. Man just ain't listening now, innit? Go on, carry on.
Yeah.
I'm saying this is why he's been blocked before and it makes sense now.
Yeah.
Go on. You know what I'm saying? Now think about it, he's been blocked before. Yeah.
Real, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you think we don't know that about Ericsson?
Yeah.
Like, we are telling y'all this simply and truly, bro. Why did it take the World Cup for us to talk about him like
That's
this?
it, yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it. Simply
all.
put, he can
Me
be
or you have not said he's a bad player. I've not said he's a bad player.
What do you mean we won't know if they're bids? Like,
so if we won't know where their bids, then you can't say HKN in this comment that they didn't want to let him go because we don't know that. Then if we don't know that there was bids, which is a fair statement, I'm not going to get into all that. Then that's fair. That's fair. I'm saying. Oh, Anton, I stand corrected. Then if you haven't been blocked before, I know there's some people. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just.
But back to my point is you reaching with it anyway. Like I said, nobody. I've said categorically I want to upgrade on Ericsson, but we move. Go on, Eddie. Carry on.
It's just different. It's just for me, bro. I need a difference maker. I don't need a really good player. I don't think like there's only so many. Like this is the other point too. There's only like so many talented midfielders in the Prem. I mean, not in the Prem, in the world these days that like fit the profile of what we need. Like, if it never could you like it gives people if we had Casemiro with Pogba and Bruno. Because, like I've said every time, Bruno has to be the worst midfielder out the bunch because of what he does. That would have been supreme. Like, we would have been fucking people up even worse than we are now. That's the type of player I'm looking for, right? Somebody who can pass and carry the ball at a crazy level. At a crazy level. Like Enzo. I would have gone for Enzo before I would have gone for McAllister. I got more faith in Enzo than I do McAllister. Is that crazy to say?
No, that's first. Well, like you said, man are just missing the point in regards to what we're saying. Again, let me repeat this.
The thing is,
go on.
We need a park. I understand that, but we have parks. Like we have park profile.
Yeah, Bruno's a park.
Right now.
Bruno's a park. 100%. Bruno is a Park Ji-sung.
I
call him that. He is a part. He reminds me of Park Ji-sung. Not as good, but he's offensively better. Obviously, I think Park's better overall, but we have Park Ji-sung in Bruno. Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro. That's my thing. That's my thing.
Yeah, but back to the point is you man are missing the point. Again, let me just repeat this again. HKM Music compared Ericsson to McAllister. I did not do that, but I know which one I want. You know what I'm saying? I know which one I would prefer. And there was nobody talking about McAllister in the summer. That's a fact. None of you lot mentioned him. He was not a talking point. So if he balled out last season, all right, he was underrated. Cool. But let's not act like, right, how can you not want McAllister now after the World Cup? Because even before the World Cup, he wasn't spoken about. Like, this is all I'm saying. Not saying he's a bad player. But I'm saying the price point they're talking about, I'm not saying he's a 10. What is he? He's an 8? He's a 10? What is he? I agree, HKM Music. You're here. Stop doing that. You know we don't rate Bruno. You know that. Like, don't do that. Like, this is not what we're doing. Hey, Play Simple, big up for the super chat. Says, y'all are saying he's better than DePaul, Correa, Enzo, Dybala. Stop it, fam. I don't even know about all that. You know what I'm saying? McAllister wasn't a standout performer at the World Cup. Stood out. Enzo was a 6. McAllister's an 8/10. Different player. Okay, cool. I want a better 8/10. because I want an 8 or a 10.
He
I
said
don't want
he's
an
a what?
8/10.
He said
He
he's a
said he's an
what?
8. He said he's an 8/10.
Exactly what I thought he was. Exactly who I thought. Like McAllister is not a better passer than Enzo. McAllister is not a better player than like. Let's chill.
Man, just doing too much from McAllister.
McAllister. Like I'm saying people. We do not need more energy. Like he's a steady Eddie. We don't. We need players who can use the ball to our advantage and change the game that way. Can McAllister do it if given enough chances? Yes. Like legit people, I'm taking Maddison over McAllister.
Yeah, and people talking injury prone about Maddison. I'm looking up. This is his Premier League game. So he's played 22 matches this season, played 35 the season before, 31 the season before, 31 the season before, and 36 the season before that. And then, yeah, that's from the start. Yeah, 2018-19. So if he's injury prone, it's really not showing in terms of his games. So that's what it is. And whether it's a 10 or not, and this is not what we're going to do. I can't back the player that is being criticized or is being what's it called? We're talking about. So I'm gonna criticize the player you want. I would take Maddison personally, but that's not the only 10 I would take to get to your point, Marcel. So when you say name the bad 10, Maddison's better than McAllister, yes. But if we don't get Maddison, I'm not saying solely just Maddison. I'm saying go and get somebody else. Just go get me a better number 10. Or if it's not a 10, go get me a better 8. You know what I'm saying in that? Go get me a better 8. Go get me a Lavio. Go get me a Paulino, even though he's more of a 6. But you understand my point. Yeah, McAllister's definitely getting overhyped. You know what I'm saying? He's a good player and that's it. That's my point, Jez. He's a good player and that's it. Otherwise, ManDem would have been waxing lyrical about him in the summer and the summer before. Nobody was talking about this guy up until now. Now, all of a sudden, he's the guy. He's this, he's that. Basuma was a good player there. What are we talking about? Basuma, where was the hype surrounding him? Where was the people talking about him?
We had everybody and their grandmama asking to bring Basuma to their club.
Me included.
That's all like people.
Me included. Come on.
And it's not about it again. It's not about whether or not we're talking about him or
before you continue, Anton, stop doing this because I've already said I want a better player than Eriksen. So don't use Eriksen as the metric. I want to upgrade on Eriksen. I've said this verbatim. So if I see you mention that again, I will block you. Go on, carry on, fam.
It's like, it's not about us having these conversations. It's about the fact that these players are seen by scouting departments of every team in the Prem. That's what we're saying. So whether we don't talk about them, they are talking about them. The people who make these decisions are definitely having these conversations. Agents are having these conversations. Y'all know why? Because when they get paid for a higher price, what that means is they're going to get a higher cut. So you don't think McAllister's agent wants all these players, all their players to get these high-level moves? Of course they do. So when it comes to letting information out, they'll go ahead and call an Ornstein or a Jacobs or whoever the hell is who putting the news out there. That's what I'm saying.
Marcel, I seen what you said. You're talking about. I rate Basuma HK. I'm a big fan. I'm still a big fan. Don't get mistaken. And you said you retyped the answer to Eddie's question in regards to why teams didn't go for him. So you're just saying it was different profiles in it because teams didn't really need what he was. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, that's what it is. And again, I agree, Alpha. I'm not going to repeat this. I don't know. This ain't aimed at you. I've said already, and I'll say this again. I wanted to upgrade on Eriksen. I've said this. Go get me an upgrade on Eriksen. Simple as that. Do I believe that upgrade is McAllister? No, I don't. No. Honestly, nah. I don't think so. I've watched him, not a lot. But in terms of profile and what I have watched, I'm like, man. The World Cup that everyone's hyping up, I don't think he was amazing in the World Cup. I thought he was decent. It was good. That was it. He wasn't wild getting to my football club, but go on, carry on.
like
crazy.
I just can't see the game changer. Like I just can't see it. I like why people wouldn't be out there clamoring for him when the Prem is an arms race. Every team in the top 6 is trying to get the best player they can. If they thought he was the guy, they would have made an attempt.
That's all.
That's
See, but I'm just saying that people didn't mention it. Like that's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, no, I wouldn't see C1 we different. Fantastic. No, I wouldn't call him fantastic.
the only one that was
Fantastic on a scale to
fantastic.
me of, so we're saying he played 8 out of 10 better or better at the World Cup. I disagree with that. I don't think so. No, I think he was good, but that was it. He wasn't wow. You know what I'm saying? And that he wasn't wow. Based off of what? What are we doing this? So we basing this off a World Cup and a season and a half the season and a season and a half at Brighton and saying this guy's it. I need bigger sample sizes, people. You might just trying to criticize Eriksen, who's been balling in the Premier League for like almost 10 years. And Maddison, who's been in a Leicester side that's been up and down at points while he's down now for the past 5-6 years. I need bigger sample sizes. You man probably want Evan Ferguson. All right, cool. All right.
I'm really trying to.
Before you get to it, C1, what would you give him on a scale of 0 to 10 for his performances at the World Cup? And then I want Enzo's number. And what would you give Enzo as well, C1? 2 questions to you. That's all. Yeah, go on, fam.
Because again, we saw them both play, right? And would you agree that Chelsea needs a lot of help in their midfield so they could have taken
absolutely. Yeah, they definitely need a lot of help. 100%. Does he improve their midfield though? Is he better than Joao Felix? I'm asking the question, people. I'm not saying he is or he isn't. I'm asking the question. Does he get into Chelsea's midfield with Enzo? Say Chelsea starting midfield is Enzo, Kovacic, Joao Felix. So we can say Enzo in the 6/8, Kovacic in the 6/8, and then Joao in the 10. Does he get into their midfield? Let me know. Remember, I'm genuinely asking people. Genuinely. Like, I don't get this in it. Like, Eddie, you spot on when it's like it came after the World Cup. It really was.
And I've never said he was a bad player. I'm just
never said he's a bad player. Not saying he's a bad player. No, I'm not saying that. Definitely not a bad player. It's just this. How can you not rate him? The outrage. That's what it is.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's more the outrage. That's what it is. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm saying I need more than a season and a half at Brighton and a good World Cup to go, get him to my team.
And it's all good. Like, again, he played for Argentina on the biggest stage. I think he came in as a relative nobody, to be honest. Because, again, like I said, people weren't putting his name out there. Right? At least Enzo, I knew about Enzo before the World Cup. I can say that. That might be because of the package I get. I get to watch them. I get to watch Benfica play, but it's just like,
yeah. So yeah, let me know. So people are saying McAllister. So I get to your super chat. Sorry to cut you off there. So man is saying 6 and Enzo at 8 at the World Cup. McAllister 8, 7 at Enzo. McAllister 7, Enzo 8. Let's go off this. C1 still waiting for yours as well, man. You know what I'm saying? You'll give McAllister at 8.5. I'll give Enzo at 8, but I think Enzo is a better player, by the way. I would have taken McAllister if we didn't get Enzo, to be honest. But you would have preferred, even though Enzo had the better, even though McAllister had the better World Cup, you'd take Enzo because Enzo's the better player, and you know this. If you have a choice between the two, you know who you're taking. And for those who say, they're different profile and play different positions, say you need a 6 and you are /8 and you need a number 10, who you picking? Well, they both play 8s because you man told me McAllister's an 8/10.
Yeah, McAllister can play 8.
Yeah. So let's say we need an 8. Are you taking Enzo or you're taking McAllister? We know who everyone's taking. Rhetorical. Who would be an 8/10 that you guys would bring in that's better than McAllister at 50-60 M's? One, I don't think he's 50-60 M's. I don't think so. I really don't. And plus, I don't want 8. I want 6. I want 2 6s. I've said this. I'm saying I want upgrade and HKN. You've been here long enough. I've said already there's no standout for me personally in regards to the upgrade on Eriksen. There's no one I look at and go, yes. Backup 6s to Casemiro, different conversation. There's a couple of them I would take. But I want to upgrade on Eriksen. And I don't think McAllister is 50-60 million. If he's as good as you lot are saying he is, he's not 50, 60 M's. You're talking 70, 80. You might have saying he's better than Caicedo, the way you might have going on. Marcel says McAllister gets in the Chelsea team. Okay, for who? Again, you answer the question. If he gets in the team,
HKN, let me explain something to you, bro.
Who?
I said I knew about Benfica because of the package I get on TV. So I'll just turn on the game and you can see players who play outstanding. It's not like it's some crazy idea to have all these soccer channels on TV and I get the Portuguese league every now and again.
And
so,
and before you go on, Enzo played 6 months at Benfica. I'm not completely sold on Enzo. I think he's a baller, but I wasn't like, yo, get Enzo.
I said I knew about him. This man is acting like I said he's the greatest. I said at least I knew about Enzo.
That's all. Again, you lot can't keep twisting words. No one said, I'm not saying Enzo's the savior. I'm not saying Enzo's the savior. I'm saying he's better than McAllister, though. Would I have wanted my team to spend 100 million on him? I don't know about all that. No, I wouldn't. No.
So I'm saying,
no.
You talking about Yao?
No, I'm talking about Enzo. I'm talking about Enzo.
No.
I need to see more. I'm consistent. Overall. I need to see more. I'm consistent. What are we doing here? Like, this is not what we're doing. This is not. Yeah, like you said, Enzo had 6 months at Benfica. I wouldn't spend 100 million on someone for 6 months at Benfica. No. Personally, I would not do that. I need to see more of a sample size. Even though it looks like a solid investment now. Because he looks like a baller. But I'm not here saying, yo, Enzo, whoo! Same way you're here hyping up McAllister after a season and a half at Brighton. What are we doing? Where he balled out last season, but no one was talking about him. Okay. All right.
Okay. I don't even know what to do, bro. Like I'm trying to break it down to people, and me trying to just find clarity on a conversation that's turned into y'all don't think he's this, y'all don't think he's that. Personally,
I'm just reaching. Big up for the super chat though, HKN.
Yeah, I don't care, bro. Like I really just do not care either way. It's a good like I'm just like, bro. What do you want me to say? Like, what do you want for me to tell you? Like, he's all right. I'm not finna be like you. I'm not finna. Y'all can talk to the highest heavens. It's not gonna change my question. My only question has been, was it legit the World Cup that made him this good?
What?
Not the amount he's played at least 2 years in the Prem. You say he played.
Okay. No, so to Marcel, who said this is fair. Like I said before, we'll see where McAllister is at in 2-3 years, and we'll see if we're having a different conversation. Time will sell. You said flawless, bigger sample size. That's the point I'm making. Bigger sample size. But man, I'm saying, yo, bring him to United. He's better than Eriksen based off of a season and a half at Brighton against a man who's been balling out ever since he's entered professional football, pretty much. He was at Ajax, did his thing. Jez will tell you that. I need to do more info on that, but I know he balled out to an extent at Ajax. I've seen it with my own eyes at Spurs. In 2 seasons, 1 Serie A, when Brentford did his thing because people thought his career was over, and then has come to Manchester United and has played out position and has also played well. What are we doing? I like sample size. I'm not flavor of the month. Don't tell me about a player who's been doing it since 2000. Some of you lot with kids when when Eriksen was burst onto the scene. Legit. And when I say burst onto the scene, that's in quotation marks. What are we doing here? Man was there in 2009. How old were some of you lot in 2009? I was a teenager in 2009, so I know some of you lot were kids in high school. And we're going to bet against him against the guy who's had a season and a half at Brighton and a good World Cup. So all I'm saying is bigger sample size before I'm saying bring him to my football club to start. Any player I'm saying bring to Manchester United, and this is why I'm very specific with what I say. Any player I say bring to Manchester United to start, I've seen over a long period of time. I'm saying Maddison. I've seen and watched Maddison ball out at Leicester for a long period of time. The reason why I'm talking about the Onanas and Paulino, as I'm talking backup, that's different. I just go profile. Kim Min-jae, profile. I've said go get Balde as a left back for just profile. That's it. But if someone push back on that, I go, cool, he's 19. But everyone, Ivan Toney, I've enough evidence. Even Harry Kane, who has much more credit in the bank than McAllister, I don't want at my football club to start because of the same reasons. Well, not same reasons. Price point being one of the major ones. Yeah, Jazz, I'll check my DMs in a sec. Sorry, Eddie, to cut you off. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's all good. It's all
That's
good.
all. It's good. This is good though. This is good. You lot shook up the show. I respect it. Yeah, go on, fam. And I get to this afterwards. Go on. One second. Back in 1 second.
You get that. Okay. So again, people, for me personally, midfield is not even the priority of what I need to sign. I need 2 top level strikers, or maybe 1 top level striker, 1 project. And so I'd rather spend a shit ton of money on a striker before a McAllister in that sense too. But if we get these crazy Qatari owners, and I think I saw some news about Radcliffe. Hey, bro, I'm gonna be real, bro. Like, don't worry about all the news coming out. Just worry about the ones that come from real respected sources, you know. But yeah, like left back, we need 2 fullbacks before we need like a midfielder level of McAllister. Like, it's cool, people. It's not that deep. It's not that deep with this McAllister situation. If he balls, I'll be here for that. I'm not going nowhere. Yeah. So don't even trip. I'm really not. I'm not pressed. Yeah, I'm just. And
Anton said you gotta get these dons before they get too expensive. He's expensive now. You know what I'm saying? He's more expensive now. What are we talking about? Like, we be talking. Is it fair to say? Do you lot in the chat would say he's at least 70 M's? Bare minimum. How much did they want for Casado? Was it not 70, 80, 90 M's, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I'm saying.
Like, look, me personally, I was like, look, of course we need midfielders, but if I had to prioritize what I want first, it would be a striker. Like, because I just feel like they're fewer to come into like than midfield. I think you can find some midfielders, even though it's not the greatest level. Striker, it's even worse. Like, how many strikers out there you think people that command like the level of attention United striker with? Like, there's not that many talented strikers in this age. So spend that money on a striker, and then you can spend that other money on a on a midfielder. But it's not even like the manager. The manager tells you who he wants. He's still on the De Jong hype. For me, maybe for y'all, it's different.
It's different.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's different. Fine. Yeah, Jez, I'm gonna hit you up now in a sec. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 sec. Like, what we do, I said this all stemmed from Eddie was the one who initially said it and was like, did it start after the World Cup? And now we're saying he's cold. So if he's this cold and he's been balling out at Brighton, I'm taking you lot's word for it because I didn't particularly hear or see anything last season. And when I say balling out, that means, yo, you was 9, 10 out of 10 that season, which you wasn't. But that's a whole different conversation. So a good season and a half at Brighton, and all of a sudden go get him. And to people talking about, oh, he'd start in the top 6. He started in the top 6 teams. Yes, because the majority of the top 6 teams midfields are shit. That's why. Manchester United midfield options are shit. Outside of Casemiro, I want to upgrade on Eriksen, who's good. They're all terrible. Liverpool, all terrible. Chelsea need heavy investment. I'm saying Kante is injury prone. Kovacic is injury prone. Mount's not good enough. You've just signed Enzo. You have no number 6 and you need a number 10. Joao Felix is not there permanently. Give me another Spurs' midfield. Højbjerg, Skip. Who else? Who else is in their midfield? I even know their players. Basuma's gone there and died, even though I rate Basuma. Like, what are we doing? We can't just say, oh, he gets into a top 6 midfield, but the top 6 midfield options are not good. I've just done United, I've done Liverpool, I've done Spurs, I've done Chelsea. Who's the one? City he don't get into as well. You know what I'm saying in that? Like, what we talking about? Flawless, you see the midfielders you mentioned for United to buy. McAllister is the best option, in my opinion, if you take everything into account. No, he's not a better option than Sabitzer at 20 million, who I want as a squad player. McAllister, to me, is a squad player at best. So, no, I don't want to spend 60, 70, 80 million on a squad player. If you're going to go get a squad player, go pay squad player prices. That's all I'm saying.
This is the other thing.
Yeah, and Arsenal, and the thing is, Anton says he's probably better than Xhaka, and Arsenal want an improvement in that area too. That's why they're linked to Declan Rice. This is why you need to improve. Like, what we doing here? This is what we doing.
It's great because again,
what we doing?
I've said striker is a priority for me because it's harder to get a striker that you want before it is to get a midfielder, in my opinion, that you need.
First,
there aren't that many strikers who fit the mold of what we need, and they will be commodities. They will be talked about. So get the striker first because that's what we need desperately. We also need midfielders desperately. There are better midfielders out there. But we can still get to them, in my opinion, in a longer amount of time. Like we could like do the whole Sancho. We're going to talk for months and months and months type ordeal with midfielders. With strikers, somebody will drop the bag. Somebody will definitely drop the bag.
Yeah. And to HKN, who says, I wasn't talking about you watching him at Benfica. I'm talking about he only played there for 6 months. And we've addressed that, HKN, in regards to, this is why I'm not waxing lyrical about Enzo. This is why if my team went and paid 100 million for him, I'd be skeptical. I've already said verbatim, I don't want to see my club spend that much money on any player not called Kylian Mbappe. But you're not new here, so you know these things. McAllister's been at Brighton. Next year when he gets his move and he balls, I'll be here to remind you too. That's all right, that's well and good, but you weren't here beforehand. Where was you last season? Where was you in the summer? All of a sudden, it's easy to say it now when he's quote unquote balling. You weren't saying this in the summer. What are we talking about? But big up for the super chat. Everybody's what's it called? Everybody's better in hindsight, innit? You know what I'm saying? And everyone knows best after the fact. No one we're talking about McAllister. Like, that's just the fact of the matter. And when I say that, I'm talking about you lot in the chat. Nobody mentioned to me. This man's name never came out of my mouth before the World Cup. Now all of a sudden it's McAllister. How can you not know he's such a baller? So how come if you're such a baller, you man didn't mention him then? Because you man would mention other ballers.
Fuck all that. Why didn't the team let it be known?
Hey, can I say something real quick?
Yeah. Go on, Jess is in the building. Before you do, you get to that. HKM, big up for the super chat. Says midfield isn't a priority. We can't even keep the ball. We definitely need 2 midfielders. Agree, we need fullbacks too. I agree on it all. It's all a priority to me, but that's a conversation we'll get onto. Yeah, go on, Jess. I know you got stuff you want to say.
Big up to you first. Hope good day, beautiful Friday. Sun is out. I think the sun has everybody kind of confused or violent today. I don't know what's going on today in the chat, but big up. But let's get this shit right, man. McAllister from Brighton, English name, Ginger from Argentina, has an English name as an Argentine. These are the 2 things that I saw. I think a couple of months before anybody talked about him, because I would find it intriguing, interesting facts in it. But let's get it right, man. Before the World Cup, I think he had like a little spell where he was looking kind of high. But people have to stop the cup. Just stop the cup. This guy wasn't hooping like you guys are saying he's hooping now. Like Mitoma, like Ferguson, even like Caicedo. Like, you guys doing too much with this Brighton team. I understand everybody likes the flavor of the month, but eventually you guys have to go and relax for a second. I seen somebody yesterday tell me sell Kane and replace him with Evan Ferguson. I would pass away because how can I trust Harry Kane's legacy of being our top scorer for Tottenham Hotspur to our 18, 19-year-old? They just started 14 games in the league. Like, you guys looking at it from a way too crazy standard, and you guys hyping things up. McAllister at the World Cup. Let's stop the cup. Let's be honest. McAllister was a good team player. That's it. He wasn't this guy that was, because I remember nobody was asking for, McAllister needs to start for Argentina. Remember what happened? I remember the conversation. First game against Saudi Arabia, Argentina lose 2-1. Yeah. Oh my God, Argentina they're not going to win the World Cup. Enzo Fernandez comes in as a starter now. Since the second game, never left the starting 11 since. And everybody talked about how Enzo Fernandez transformed the midfield and one of the main reasons why they won the World Cup. Nobody was saying McAllister was one of the main reasons why Argentina won the midfield battle every time. Nobody was saying that. And I checked it even through. Most of the time, McAllister got substituted. mid-game. I
Yep.
went through this.
Yep.
I went
Yeah,
through
I
the
went through
game.
it as well. Yep, he got
Like,
subbed a lot. I just didn't know the time, but I know he got subbed.
yeah,
I didn't know if it was there.
he got subbed multiple times. Enzo stayed on for the most of the games.
Mhm.
What are we doing here, people? And I remember in January when McAllister came in, everybody was saying, "Oh, McAllister's going to get a move from Brighton. Why should a World Cup winner stay at Brighton?" He's still at Brighton. Nobody came in for him in January. It's not like it would have been expensive to get McAllister in January. I don't know what you guys are drinking. I don't know if you guys are affected from the sun today. I'll be real. Like, I know the sun doesn't shine that much in England or wherever you guys are, but you guys need to relax with this thing of like, and I say this a lot of people. I say it with a lot of players, not just McAllister. I say it with a lot of people. You guys love to hype guys who have a 6-month period where they just start hooping and think they're all of a sudden world class. Even Enzo Fernandez, I said at the time, I knew this guy since River Plate. Nobody was talking about this guy. Nobody knew about this guy.
You're like a Steve in it. You be watching, like you mentioned, like Hodgland to me like months back. We'll go on, carry on.
KK from Australia. I talked about him when he was fucking Russia. Hooping.
You did.
And people weren't talking about back then. And for me with Enzo, I said at the time when Chelsea bought him, that's crazy amount of money to spend. I know Benfica fans in real life, they saying we made more than a profit because they would have even told you, okay, 70, 80 because he's a World Cup youngster of the year. This would have been the most. They would have been happy with 70, 80. That's what Benfica fans that I know in real life told me. But
yes. Can I ask you something? Because you can validate this for me.
Go on.
Does Enzo not, like, when you saw them two, did Enzo not stand out more than McAllister in that World Cup?
Oh, he was the main reason why that midfield transformed so much. Where like that midfield went on to help the team win the World Cup. Because before that, the midfield was stinky. The Paul was stinking off the place. McAllister was just decent, and I don't know who the fuck the other midfielder was. Like, people, stop lying to yourself, trying to convince a point. I understand. I know this feeling. Sometimes I do this as well, where I try not to go overboard with something just to prove a point.
Yeah,
and
facts. And before you continue, Anton, you just completely missing the point. No one says, you say dude's been hooping for Argentina and Brighton, he's more than done his job. To you, that is your preference on it. If half a season or a season and a half at Brighton and a World Cup is good enough for you to rate someone highly, that's cool. Yeah, your standards are low and that's cool. Don't put your low standards on me. That's on you. You know what I'm saying? In that, that's on you. Don't put your low standards on me. Because like I said, you was here during the summer, didn't mention him once. You know what I'm saying? Did not mention him once. United need midfielders. All our teams pretty much, because there's no City fans in the chat, need midfielders. If he was this good and balled out, how come not one of you man mentioned him? You know why? Because he didn't ball out. That's why. That's why it was. Let's call a spade a spade. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's great debate. That's why we're having it. Not one of you man mentioned him in the summer. All our teams need midfielders. Every single one. You was all here during the summer. How come nobody mentioned him? Before the World Cup, nobody mentioned him. But we move. You know what I'm saying? Carry on, man.
And I know this shit because I ironically was asked before the World Cup, yo, low-key, we should snap up McAllister at easy 20 mil. No, I'm saying 60, 70. That's a Madison level money. And I see my club linked to Madison as well. Like the other day, saying that we're leading the race apparently. I don't know how true that is. But I'm definitely paying 60, 70 for Madison. Do I want to pay 60, 70 for McAllister? Fuck no. I'm paying like 30, 40 at max. Anything after that is a scam, in my opinion. But this is the thing that I'm trying to say. Even Caicedo, I'm saying 80 mil. Like, that's wild. And I'm not saying these people are bad players, and I know you guys look at it from a perspective of it's not our money. What is another catchphrase that they say every time? If they hoop, the price tag doesn't matter no more. But I think shouldn't there be a kind of, shouldn't you rate it in terms of like what you feel like is really true market value instead of going off like, oh fuck it, he had like a good 6 months, but let's go and buy him. Bro, I see somebody for Ivan Toney being consistent for 2 years in the Premier League for Brighton and for Brentford. That's why I say, even people call me crazy when I say I want Toney over Ferguson when Ferguson is much younger than him. Now I'm just going based off what I'm seeing in terms of like consistency. And let me not even start with even Tony in the Premier League. I've been watching Tony since the Championship. I go that far long when he broke the record, most goals scored in the Championship. I'm going back then since. So I don't know what's wrong with people today. I'll be honest. Like, I understand McAllister is a good player, but what is a good player for you guys? And where do you put McAllister in which bracket of players? Because if you think McAllister is good enough to be, and don't get it twisted, McAllister can end up being a really good. He could make a move to Liverpool. He could get a move to City, Man United, Arsenal, whatever. He could make the move, and he can start hooping. And we could sit here and say, you know what? This guy's actually very, very good now. But just because he's starting to hoop somewhere and reaches new levels, right, doesn't justify right now why everybody has to jump on this ship of, he is that guy. You're a guy.
I need to change this title on that. McAllister's, I'm going to change it. We're going.
And this is the thing. And that's the thing I have to say, like, bro, because it's okay to be wrong, people. It's okay to be wrong. I don't know why you guys making it seem like...
Man want to lie, Jez, and say that, so again, like I stated, in it, and this is why someone got blocked, because they're purposely not listening to man. If you're purposely just not going to listen to what I'm saying, cool, you'll hold the block and you can stargaze from outside. The point I'm making is all our teams need midfielders, and nobody mentioned them to me in the chat. C1, I could use you as an example. Chelsea need midfielders. You weren't talking about...
He's not going to say...
You weren't talking about McAllister in the summer.
He wants Lavia, he wants Caicedo. He's not asking for... an aid that can go, and people earlier, the reason why I got triggered is because I saw people trying to compare McAllister with Eriksen. Brother, Eriksen at the age of 24 was clear.
HKN, I'm spot on about what I'm saying. The only thing I've stated that is a fact is that nobody mentioned McAllister in the comments, which is a fact. You was here, a lot of other people were here. Nobody we did countless Q&As that Jez, Eddie, and myself was on. Nobody mentioned McAllister. Nobody mentioned this man's name in the summer just gone when United needed players, and Spurs needed players, and Chelsea needed players, and Liverpool needed players. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we talking
Liverpool
about?
fans were crying for a midfielder in the summer, crying. I didn't see one midfielder.
Yeah, HKN, how you telling before you go, Jess? How you telling me about what happened on my own channel? Nobody mentioned this man in the comments. That's a fact.
That's
a fact.
I'm here on the regular.
What are you talking about? That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? HKN, a lot of midfielders start for Manchester United. They don't mean they're good enough. Because
that's another point. That's another point.
Trash. That's why. Trash. What we doing? We'll go on. Carry on. Carry on, fam.
And this what I want to say. The reason why I had to come on this because I was felt is when I saw somebody say McAllister at the age of 24 was comparing him with Eriksen at that time of age. Eriksen was miles clear of a player. I don't understand.
Like, people, Eriksen was the first person.
Before you continue, no, HKN, you're now not listening, and now this is just going to annoy me now. No, it does matter because it matters to the point I am making to people in the chat. People are talking McAllister this, McAllister that right now in April. I'm saying if we fast forward and go past a few months, nobody mentioned McAllister. Yes, is the point I'm making in the chat. Sabitzer don't start. He's a squad player. Now you're just not listening, so I'm just going to ignore you. Go on, you man, carry on.
Yes,
carry on.
Yes. Let me ask you this, right? Was Eriksen not one of the first players where we got to understand how Shug Levy, a.k.a. Daniel Levy, really operates as an owner? Did that brother not want to leave year after year to showcase his talent, but Levy just would not let him?
Yes, there was a lot of players in that team that had the same feeling, but Eriksen was one of the first players that actually made his feelings clear in that period with that team, that he wanted to leave and make them bigger heights until it got to a point where like his contract was running out and we had to sell him because it was getting toxic with him because he wanted out. What Harry Kane, by the way, should be doing, but that's for another debate. Eriksen was an established player already before he even came to Tottenham. He came to Tottenham when we bought him with the Bell money. He was one of the players, and he's actually one of the players that actually succeeded everybody's expectations, even as a player. And even now, as a player, I said in the comments before, other than the, and by the way, he's playing in the pivot. Eriksen never played for us in the pivot. He was always a wide player /10. And I'm seeing him play for United in the pivot where like they're not dominating the position. So you kind of making him do work that he's not comfortable in. Yet I think he's still doing a good job for United. And I don't, other from the athletic standpoint, I don't see how McAllister at 24 is better than Eriksen at 31. And that's my honest opinion as a player. If Eriksen was playing out wide, where Sancho was playing, I know Sancho, there's still a lot more that can come from him, and Eriksen doesn't have the PNP as well. But I've seen Eriksen play for Tottenham without crazy PNP out wide.
Because his other attributes were cold that back then. You know what I'm saying? So
and he was going crazy in the 10, hooping. And so he's not playing for United in those positions. Yet he's still hooping for United. And I said that's why I never understood why United fans were going so crazy about Eriksen just because he doesn't tackle or want people, trying to hurt people. I never understood it.
We got this brother with a pacemaker playing in the 6th, bro.
That's disgusting behavior, yo. That's disgusting,
bro. That's
disgusting.
I'm telling you.
That's disgusting, yo. That is disgusting.
I mean, Ten needs to get arrested for that reason. But you know what? Eriksen's fine with that. Because that's why I said people underestimate he is a hard worker off the ball.
Shit, that's mad funny, yo.
No,
that
should
is
be arrested, bro.
That is mad funny. Let me get to these 2 super chats. Just ask Grizz and Saeed about McAllister, about both would take him and said both should be 50,
but there's
60,
2 people.
60 M's. Yeah, Grizz and Saeed are my bros. What does this mean? Like this is not like I can go and talk to people and say, "Oh, would you?" All right, so they said they take him. Cool. Saeed also wants to keep David De Gea. I don't.
Exactly. It's opinions, people. Not everybody should keep. Not everybody has the same opinions on certain things. Like so.
Let me get to the second one. Hold that
HKM.
thought.
Yeah.
Who says if anyone from the chat, you guys are in the minority about McAllister. Most people would take him and he's a star. Either Bruno or Eriksen go to the bench. Yo, even like I say with most of our fan base wanted to keep Cristiano Ronaldo. Majority of our fan base wanted to keep Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in charge. I don't pay attention to what
we pay. You came to the wrong place talking that fan.
Because
we are not the one.
I've said this before. I'll say this again. If fans were in charge of Manchester United Football Club, we'd be in League 2. We would be in League 2. If you put fans in charge of our football club would. I don't think we'd be a football club. I think we'd go out of business in 10 years.
Well, United would be competing with Salford. Whatever league they are right now, like
we'd be below Salford, fam. We'd be below Salford. You know what I'm saying?
And this is even I say about my club. I don't want people. Tottenham fans should never be able to be controlled. Even I think I got a good ball knowledge and stuff, but even I don't want to be responsible for that club because I'm not a professional in it. And let's be honest. Okay, the first super shot.
Okay, let's say before you get to it, he says you're still in the minority about McAllister though. Cool. Doesn't make us wrong. I was in the minority about Cristiano Ronaldo. I was right. I was in the minority for a long time about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Me and Eddie Wolf we was right. We were currently in the minority about De Gea, I believe we'll be right. What we doing could easily use that. 2 major things. In the minority about many things. What we talking about?
Exactly.
No, Marcel, I don't watch Brighton a lot, but I'm not saying I've not said McAllister is a bad player. And you lot ain't watching Brighton like that. Cut the shit. Like, let's call it. How you not watching Brighton and your team's play? What we doing, man?
It's the sun.
You lot don't watch Brighton like that.
It's the sun.
You lot sitting down and getting free. Brighton ain't on TV like that. You man sitting down getting 3 p.m. links to watch Brighton all the time. Week in, week out.
You know what I'm saying?
And even this whole thing of De Zerbi as the manager. I think De Zerbi is a good manager. But let's be honest. When he was at Shakhtar Donetsk and when he was at Sassuolo, he wasn't this talked about, he needs to be Chelsea or he needs to be Tottenham manager and this and that. And this doesn't mean I don't think De Zerbi is a bad manager. What I'm saying is there is sometimes you need this platform to kind of show you, McAllister, the Mitomas, the Kim Min James, the Kvaratskhelia, they're having the platforms to perform. But it doesn't mean automatically all of them are good enough for what certain teams need to where certain clubs want to be. And for example, the first super chat about Chris and Zahid said they would take McAllister for 50-60 million. Okay, so HKN, for example, let's say Flores, for example, he wants Højbjerg for 70-80. Doesn't mean you want Højbjerg for 70-80. It's the same shit.
It's the same shit.
It's the same shit.
I don't want Højbjerg for 70.
No, I'm just
making sure
he doesn't want Højbjerg. But it's an example. But it's the thing. You probably don't want Højbjerg for that, especially for that much. That is a scam. That's a scam of the century. Because I
So
you
yeah,
bought him to 15. So this one,
and that's another thing where people say, "Oh, I don't watch Brighton a lot." I don't, but neither do you lot. You lot are not watching Brighton week in, week out. So what we doing? Last season, you lot were just watching Brighton week in, week out on the Grand Party, yeah? Yeah,
Like
sure.
It's crazy, right? I've asked the
No, I'm
simplest
saying, do you
question.
watch them on a regular basis? Marcel, Brighton are not your top pick. Cut the shit. So you watching Brighton week in, week out? That's the question I'm asking to you, Marcel. You're watching Brighton week in, week out. This is not what you're doing. No, you're not. Brighton fans ain't even watching Brighton week in, week out. No, some actually now tell a lie. They are. That's it. They're the only people. You know what I'm saying in that? So no, Marcel, answer the question. Did you last season watch Brighton on a regular basis, week in, week out for 90 minutes? Say yes or no question. I know the answer and you know the answer. So yes, that is me
They're
telling
not
you.
gonna answer your question. They want to
I'm
answer
saying.
mine. They
Like we know
said
this. I know Marcel the Liverpool fan was watching Brighton week in, week out last season. No, you wasn't. You would watch you watch some of the time. Watch some of the time, maybe 10, 15 games. You're not watching 38 games a season of Brighton. Because a lot of the time they could be playing the same time as you. What we doing? So please answer my question, Marcel. So you watch, all right, okay, sure. You were watching Brighton week in, week out, sure. But you're a Liverpool fan. So what happens when they're playing the same time then as you lot? Which happens quite frequently. What we doing, man? You know what I'm saying? What we doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a straight up lie. So yes, that is me saying that. Most people are watching their own teams. You know what I'm saying? And Marcel, if he was that good to it, how come you never mentioned him up until this point? What we doing, man? Come on, people. Come on, man.
crazy,
I got
man.
love for you lot, but what are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Why would he lie to prove a point, Nuno? That's why. Man ain't watching Brighton week in, week out. You know what I'm saying? And that. Like, no, we're not. Like, no, we're not. Brighton fans are watching Brighton week in, week out. That's the point I'm making. Man ain't going and picking 3 o'clock kicker. He even said multiple screens, so you're not paying full attention to him anyway. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? Are we...
No, man.
Looking here now, Brighton, yeah, they're the 3 o'clock kick against Spurs. Along you got Brentford, Newcastle, Fulham, West Ham, Wolves, Chelsea, Leicester, Bournemouth, Villa, Forest, obviously United at the early game. I'm saying most people, Tottenham, Brighton, and Brentford and Newcastle are probably the 2 games. They're probably the 2 games most people watch. Follow on the weekend after, they're playing Chelsea. Chelsea fans will watch, yes. Chelsea fans will watch that. But then you even got Spurs, Bournemouth, everyone watching their own teams. Week after that, postponed. I'm just looking here. Week after that, oh, this is a good one. 26th of April. So you got Forest, Brighton, Chelsea, Brentford, City, Arsenal on the same day. So is everyone going to be watching City, Arsenal, or we going to watch Forest, Brighton? I'm saying. Nah, that's what it is. Not Marcel, I will. You can say that. You know what I'm saying? You can say, I don't believe you watch Brighton week in, week out. No. I believe that's a lie. If you get offended by that, so be it. There's no personal offense, like it is what it is. No, I don't think you're sitting down watching Brighton. You know what I'm saying?
On a weekly basis, you're setting your calendar to make sure you're reminding yourself to watch Brighton.
The funny thing is,
and he even said it. The crazy part is he even said, "Oh, it's on multiple screens." So that means you're not honed in totally. Then
exactly.
How many times do you sit down and watch honed in? If you're watching multiple screens, you are not honed in fully. You're not. You're not holding. And I've admitted I don't watch a lot of Brentford. I've said that. I'm not you lot. I'm not going to do that and lie. I've seen enough of Ivan Toney where I go, yeah, I like it. And I also said when C1 asked me, ironically, about David Rayo, the goalkeeper, I said, I've not watched enough of him to do that. But I've seen enough of Ivan Toney over 2 years where I go, I like you. And on top of that, I say all the time about profiles. But yeah, like I said in it, when everyone's watching City Arsenal, Marcel going to be watching Nottingham Forest Brighton in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You're not even said it's multiple screens, so you're not focused watching like it's Liverpool. What you want to tell me about McAllister?
I'm actually surprised. Why is nobody talking about Adam Webster, the Solly March, Paul Kroos? Because these guys are hooping. These guys are actually hooping. They are hooping. Why is nobody talking about these guys? But you know why? Because they are not the flavor of the month.
Yo, Marcel, I've never said you don't watch a lot of football. You do watch a lot of football because you're very knowledgeable. I asked you in particular about Brentford. I said, are you watching Brentford? Are you watching Brighton week in, week out? And the answer is no. You're a Liverpool fan. You're not watching Brighton week in, week out solely honed in. You said yourself, multiple screens. Like you'll be watching the Brighton Spurs game, I'm guessing, and Newcastle Brentford game at the same time. That's not a shot. Your football knowledge is very good. Never would I take a shot at your football knowledge. I'm talking about, in particular, watching Brighton. You said to me, I admit I don't watch Brighton often. Do you watch Brighton more often than me? Absolutely, you do. Do you watch them often? No, you don't. You're not sat down watching 90 minutes. You know what I'm saying in that? Like, you're not. Hey, Daniel, chill out, man. Marcel's my guy. Chill out. Like, for instance, and like they play after that week, Brighton Wolves, the end of this month, 3 p.m. kickoff. We're not what? No. You're not waking up at 7 a.m. to watch Brighton Wolves. 3 p.m. kick, and none of the other games are good. You'll watch Arsenal Chelsea later on that day. Like, come on, man. Come on, man. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Then when they play us, obviously everyone's watching. I'm literally running through their fixtures. Brighton Everton 5:30 kickoff. 8th of May, which I believe is a Saturday. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying, what are we doing? Arsenal, Brighton, everyone's going to watch because it's Arsenal.
You guys are doing too much today, man.
I don't know. Too much, man. Like Brighton, Southampton, 20th of May at 3 p.m. No.
It's crazy.
And then last game of the season at home, away to Villa. Brighton fans are watching it.
You know what the funny thing is? It's the same thing with this Højlund thing now. They saw him back a goal in a friendly. They saw him back a hat trick in the friendly. Højlund, watch this kid closely. Mate, I was talking about this guy for a minute. I knew about this guy when he was playing in Austria for Sturm Graz. Nobody fucking knew he was playing. People don't probably know he has a younger brother who's bagging goals as well. People don't know that though. Because they saw the little thing about, and this is what I hate about kind of like football fans these days. They take this small period where they think, no, this is good. This is enough now for a player to be this guy now all of a sudden. And that doesn't mean these guys can't become the guys. It just means at the time, there just needs to be a bigger sample size. I'm seeing 70, 80 million links with Matoba to replace Son. I think Son is in the decline, but I'm still passing away with that type of money. Brighton just bought him for like 5 mil or something. From like, you know what I'm talking? You know what I mean? Like you guys are doing too much sometimes. I'll be honest, and it's not just you guys. I think football fans in general, even I sometimes do that to a degree as well.
Yeah, this ain't a shot. This is not a shot in the slightest.
A lot of people do that on just with certain players.
Oh yeah, there we go. We play Brighton in the FA Cup
twice. Yeah, we play him twice.
We don't
and HKN, you keep messing the point, and that you watch him destroy Bruno, and United played Brighton twice, flawless. Hope you watch him destroy Bruno. I've already said I don't rate Bruno, and I want to upgrade on Eriksen. But you're clearly not listening to those 2 points because they don't fit your argument, which is cool. I've already said this. Get me an upgrade on Eriksen. I don't rate Bruno. That being said, you lot continue to hit the like button.
Here's the coldest part. Here's the coldest part in all this. Y'all took our words and twisted them the whole time. We never said Buddy wasn't good. We simply asked the question, why y'all talking about him like this?
Yes.
When he's been there all this time.
And yo, Marcel, I hope you heard me tell Daniel to allow it as well. I did say that.
Have you seen the conversations about all these other Brighton players? It's not hard to include him. Because just conversations.
True.
It's really not that hard. Like people, I'll say it again, I'll repeat it again. Fuck the conversations, because he's getting scouted by other teams in the Prem.
Yeah.
Nobody said, bro, you brought up Eric HKN. You brought up.
So he's saying, no, we didn't twist your word. You didn't say it, HKN. But if that is the point you was making about McAllister at 24 and Eriksen at 24, when was Eriksen 24? Well, yeah, I don't.
HKN, I was talking about you. I was talking about somebody else in the chat.
Okay, so he wasn't talking about you. So that's bypassed. It wasn't you, HKN.
Listen to I would address. If I have a put, I don't just trying to talk shit on somebody. I actually address the people and then have a proper conversation. Like if it was you, that's why I said HKN in the first super chat that I saw earlier.
Yeah.
And the person knows who I was talking about when I was talking about this the Eriksen and McAllister comparison. So
and I've already said, TJ, my personal preference is Maddison over Bruno. I want Maddison in a 10. And C1, this is interesting you make this point, because I make this clear right now. When is the semi-final for that game, McAllister to prove him to the masses? It's the 23rd of April. Here's the thing is, And what I'm not going to do is, if McAllister balls out in that game and Brighton win, I'm not going to be hailing his praises and be like, bring him to my football club. However, if he performs poorly in that game, I'm not going to be like, he's trash, he's no good. You know why I see one? Because it's one match. And I'm not gonna gauge my statement of a player off of one match. It's not one match. I need a bigger sample size. I need a bigger sample size than a season and a half at Brighton.
This is what
Man
these
are
guys
telling
do
me
these
he's balling out, but no one mentioned him. So how much was he balling out at Brighton?
Flores, man. This is what these people do know these days. Like one game against a particular team, hoops, and not everybody wants the guy from like I don't know. Like I said, I think it's the Sun today. Flawless, like Leicester is shiny as hell. It might
and
be
to
the
Star Lord who says Maddison ain't good enough in my opinion. Cool. Still, no matter the point, I want upgrade on Bruno. That's all I'm saying. I want an upgrade on Bruno. HKN says the reason Maddison would not work in the 10 because he does not have an engine. Technically, McAllister is just as good as Maddison. Technically or technically not. I know who's performed over a longer period of time in the Premier League. But if you lot don't want Maddison for the engine reason, here's the thing is, I understand it. That's why I'm not hammering my nails to the flag and going, yes, get me Maddison or no one else. It's definitely Maddison, Redford. That's just my personal preference. You know what I'm saying? That's just my personal preference.
To be fair, in my dream world, there's only one midfielder in my dream world, bro. That's Musiala. That's it. Everybody else, shit. Yeah, who cares? If I get the ticket that Musiala is coming to OT, then you know that's a different card. Like y'all won't be able to deal with me. But for fucking Madison, if we don't get him, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like it's not that deep for me, as it is for y'all on this McAllister youth.
I just don't get it. And again, I'm open to, unless I think a player is Mbappe level in terms of I'm not hearing no criticism of him. And Maddison, I understand with the engine thing and the pressing why people might not want him. Ivan Toney for other reasons. I don't want Harry Kane for those reasons, but anyone. But yes, man is saying Maddison ain't good enough. Cool, I think he's better than Bruno. But that's just me. Speaking of that, I wanted to get to it because I didn't expect this to go on, this debate. But this has been a great debate. Big up to all of you lot. We're at 53 likes, girls up to 60 likes. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. I've not even managed to do the subscriber check. That's how good this debate's been as well. Because normally these Friday shows just be chilled out, laid back. But sometimes we just got to get into it. Even Jez showed up. And he even a United fan. I'm saying. But Jez pulled up when I needed him. You know what I'm saying? I actually said, I wish Jez was here because I was talking about Spurs and Ericsson. And then Jez just popped up out of nowhere, in the chat.
Bro, I didn't get the notification. By the way, people, before we go for this, make sure on the individual videos, if you don't get notifications, to press on to notify you on videos, because sometimes that's what YouTube does, man. They be holding the ManDem fam. They be holding us.
Yeah, they do. What you lot need to do is follow Sarcasm City TV on Twitter and follow Sarcasm City TV on Instagram and turn the notifications on, because anytime we go live, I'll always post. If you're not getting notifications, it's not my fault. If I could individually send each and every one of you lot out a post, I would. If I could add all of you lot to the biggest group chat in the world, you know what I'm saying, and have 2,000 people in there, and have every time we go live just post it in the chat, I would. But I can't do that. So please just follow Sarcasm City TV on Twitter and the Instagram. All the links for everything is underneath in the description anyway. And turn on the notifications. We got more. Don't worry, man. I was thinking what we were going to discuss today. That's the craziest part. I was thinking, what are we going to talk about? But HKN, everyone else, big up for HKN, big up for your super chats, big up to everyone for your comments. Get your questions in. If you want to talk about McAllister further, that is fine as well. Let me get to this from X. Any thoughts or prayers on Ollie's links to Club Bruges? Hilarious.
Hey, you know what? There's a couple of players at Club Bruges that I actually find interesting. I pray for those players if Ollie's the manager.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
You know, hilarious that after these man on the channel, so your Peters, Jez, Alam doing all that Union, St. Jura prop, that Ollie gets linked to a Belgian Pro League team. I've been shitting on the Belgian Pro League, just because United, just because them might have been back in USG, and ironically, he then gets linked to a Belgian Pro League team.
Hey,
that is the man. You can't make it up. You know what I'm saying? That is the man that. Yeah, go on.
That would be 3 points for us then. Easy 3 points.
Like, that is ironic that's the man people wanted. The man's people wanted as manager, and who's going to be potentially our Belgian team, and a guy in Saudi Arabia leading our line to win us the Premier League and Champions League. And now you should understand why I said if fans run Manchester United, we would be running to the fucking ground. We would be in League 2 in 2 years. How's that even possible? You know what I'm saying? And that I'm telling you right now. This is why I don't pay attention to, and I include myself in that. If Manchester United came to me, I would take the job for the bag, but I'd be like, go and get people who are qualified to do so, because I'm not qualified enough to talk and speak about this club. Nah, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? Not to talk and speak about this club. Not qualified to make this club successful. I don't have the credentials whatsoever. So yeah, it's just hilarious when I see that. Anyhow, we don't get the job either. But I'd love him to get it. You know what I'm saying, I'd love him to
I
get
really
it.
want to see, because I think Club Brugge won't be in the Champions League.
Yeah, because they're currently like 5th in the
Yeah, I
Belgian
think
league or
so. Yeah,
something.
so they wouldn't even make it. Fuck.
Yeah.
Do you know how funny it would be if they make Champions League and they get United?
Yo, that'd be hilarious, yo. That'd be hilarious. To Ronan, who says, I know you guys don't rate Bruno, but I think your criticism is excessive. If you sold him tomorrow, many top 4-6 clubs would be in for him. I disagree. He don't play for City. He don't get in Chelsea side. Liverpool's midfield's trash. So that's the only reason he get in there, because it's trash. Spurs' midfield is terrible because that's the only reason they get in. Who's the other one?
He's not playing over Odegaard.
He don't play over Odegaard. So no, I disagree with the top 4-6 clubs. And to you, Ronan, because you're probably not here because this was well early on. But I say it all the time. What does this man excel at on the football?
He'd probably start for Chelsea, but they're top 6 by name.
You think he's better than Joao Felix?
No. So who else plays in the midfield? I'm sure
Kovacic and Enzo. I don't think he's better than.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, because I forgot they did that little false 9 thing.
Yeah. Okay. So what we doing here?
Yeah,
and Marcel, I might say Bruno is a Liverpool. I'm saying if people said he went to your team, it's only because your midfield's terrible. If your midfield's good in the level that you want it to be as a Liverpool fan, he's not getting in.
When y'all were successful, he's not getting into your squad.
No, because he can't do what Henderson does. He can't do that Henderson role as well as Henderson was at that point. I'm saying, and he was over the other side. He's not better than Fabinho. He's not a 6. And then who was the other one? Like that. I agree, HK, and Bruno don't start for Chelsea. I agree. But my point is he's not. So I disagree with the top 4-6 clubs. And the reason why he receives so much criticism and so much backlash is because, like I said, what does he excel at in the football? Simple as that.
All right, the other midfielder was Thingy, Wijnaldum.
Yeah, Wijnaldum. We like, and is he better? No. I don't think he's better than Wijnaldum.
Wijnaldum, people underestimate how good he was. Liverpool fans even say they're missing to crazy.
And I think, though, Ronan, to your point, why he gets so much excessive criticism, because he gets excessive praise and excessive defense. So it balances out. I don't think either's right, but that's what happens. When a player gets overly praised and overly defended, which Bruno does, then it leads. Because I think some of the criticism of him is over the top. And I think people will say he plays poor. Some fans will say he plays poorly even when he plays well. Like, I thought against Brentford, he was okay. He was fine. He was a 7 out of 10. Like, that's it. He was fine. I didn't have no issues with his performance. I thought he played well. He was decent. But overall, is he good enough? No, I want to upgrade, whether that's Maddison, whether that's someone else. I'll upgrade on Maddison or I'll upgrade on Eriksen. I've said this. Bruno at best should be a squad player. Eriksen I'm a big fan of. Quality baller, but should be a squad player. Go get upgrades in our midfield. That's what, and I can't wait. Speaking of Eriksen, I mentioned it here. We'll go to you, Eddie. How important do you think he is to our potential, more success this season? Because it says the good news is Christian Eriksen is back in training and will be back tomorrow in the squad.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I don't know if I want him to play against them brothers from Everton. I'm not gonna lie to you, boy. Them brothers look like they was fucking around with Jamie and Top Boy. God damn it, that's what them brothers look like. I don't know. I want him to get that type of smoke on his first day back. So we'll take him off the bench. We'll let Sabitzer get his ass whooped for like 45, 50 minutes. We'll let McTominay get his ass whooped for 55, 45 minutes. Let him ease on into that thing. If he don't even play, it's all good with me. I want him ready for the cup games. Yeah, that's where I want. But brother, yeah, like Onana, Gueye, is Dockeray.
Decore is suspended. He's suspended because he got.
He was the one. With the, that's who. Yeah, I see.
He punched up Harry Kane, fam.
He wasn't all that, but yeah, he kind of mushed him.
I gotta take his eye out, boy. That brother hit him with the claw. Hit him with the claw right to his face.
That BLM midfield versus Eriksen.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, man's got a pacemaker, man. Allow that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
Yo,
that's Ten Hag that put him in that position.
Ever since
That's
you
what
man
I'm
made me
saying.
realize that, yo, man, I say he's playing a 6 with a pacemaker.
With a
That is wild,
pacemaker,
yo.
dog. With a pacemaker. What are y'all doing to this man?
Oh,
He
yeah.
got a family. What are y'all doing, man? I'm telling you.
I'm saying against that athletic midfield fam.
Oh,
Nah,
hell no. Hell no.
Yeah, you know what? Eric's my guy. Leave him on the bench, man. You know
That's what I'm
what
saying. Leave him on the bench. Leave him on the bench, man. Oh shit. I can see it now. This brother just turned and don't know which way is up. He's like, which one of y'all hit me? And it's like all three of them.
Oh my god.
Let's go. Yeah. So I think we just need because the thing with them is it's not like they're creatives as well. Right? Like that's the thing with them. They're just there to fuck the club up. That's what their midfield is, bro. It's just fuck the club up FC. So I think having a Sancho, I would probably go with the same front three that we started out with against Brentford, because I do expect us again to have a lot of the ball. And I think that Sancho and Anthony do a good job, do a better job on the wings in tight spaces than Rashford does. And they create better opportunities for us to score. So I'd probably start with them. And then I'd have what you call it. I have Sabitzer, the same midfield.
Yeah.
I put Malacia in the left back. I think he has to be there because Shaw isn't playing.
Yeah, someone said something, one of the earlier comments about, and RJ, it was your fault that the McAllister, he asked about McAllister and that kicked it off. Yes, Luke Shaw is not available for tomorrow, and we have to see how he progresses in the coming weeks. That's what Ten Hag stated. That's
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. That's what I'm looking at for tomorrow. I don't think they're not too much of a threat attacking wise with the defenders that we have. I think they've capitalized against playing against Spurs with 10 men and Chelsea being in the form that they're in, and they only got a draw. And that's them. That was them. In my opinion, they've been playing as well as they can play these past couple weeks. They've been doing well, but sometimes there's always still going to be a level to it. Like I can still see Rashford getting a goal tomorrow easy. I could see, but it'll be like I think it'll be very similar to the Brentford game where we control the ball, get a chance, set up shop defensively, and they don't, and it's another shutout. I could see that happening.
Yeah. No, first, you know what I'm saying? And I hear you, fam. I hear you. Yeah, Ericsson being back, over the moon about. Hey, Mo, you need to relax, man. You always just so like Sancho and Anthony get scapegoated for the lack of quality in midfield. Unfortunately, our fans will destroy this football club one day. No, as long as the owners and the people don't pay attention to the fans, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Smart people won't.
Mo, I've been seeing your comments. We on the same page with regards to why those two are struggling. The only thing is we're not in a place where, because we're a competitive club, we're a very competitive club. We're not in a place where we give grace to projects because we have the ability to change overnight. And you've seen this with the appointment of Ten Hag. Like, we have the money and the resources to get the type of players for us to be successful. It's just that we don't do it. And honestly, like again, people, I compare us to Madrid for a multitude of reasons. One being the size and stature of our club. The second being the pressure that comes with being at our club and what the fans demand. The fans demand success at all costs. They don't care if it takes time. No, it's success now. And
big up, man.
There are direct routes to success. There in this prem, and like one of the direct routes to success is if you have an out of this world athlete playing on the wings in this prem, it's way easier for you to find success. It's like it's preference, and then there's also just the cold hard facts. Like you can have the technical ballers, you can have that. I'm all for technical ballers, but I also understand if you don't have the team to support those ballers, then they're just out there showing you how good they are on the ball. They're not getting the goals and assists that we need. That again, people talk about. Falls talks about this all the time when he says he wants direct and pacey wingers. You're not going up against defenders. You're like legit. You're going up defenders from the French league on fucking roids, bro. These dudes built different. Some way, somehow, Thiago Silva still runs with the wind at 38 years old. It don't make no sense.
Yeah, Thiago Silva's he's aged backwards. He's not slowed down.
Koulibaly. The brother's made out of vibranium. He really is. Martinez. He's a dwarf, but he's like the dwarf from the Lord of the Rings, dog.
You remember talking about just his overall strength? I've never seen Lord of the Rings, but I hear your point.
Yeah, his strength, bro, is crazy. His ball playing ability is crazy. Varane, wiry athlete, strong, technically sound, right? The only thing with him is his health. So you have to have somebody who can run with the wind and still get a bump and keep themselves on the ball. For whatever it's worth, I don't know how Rashford gets it done, but he does it with his pace and his power. And the ball sticks on him well enough to put it in the bottom corner, top corner, wherever you want it. That's it, man. It's simple. Like Sancho and Anthony will come well when we get if this is what the manager wants now.
Yeah.
If he wants to play in that certain style, then they'll come well. If not, we could see Sancho. I think we'll see Sancho go before we ever see Anthony go, because Anthony's actually the manager's guy.
Yeah, he's the manager's guy. And that's the thing is, Rashford's going to play left. We're going to sign a striker. So the only place left for Sancho is 10. Do I believe Sancho is capable of playing there? Yes. Especially if you have a Casemiro, upgrade on Eriksen, 2 new fullbacks. Like he can, but will the manager go with that? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the $1 million question. I've said it before. I think Sancho's just the right player in the wrong league at the wrong club.
I actually have a quick question.
Question
too, because something I have to ask Eddie as well. You can answer as well, because
yeah,
and other Q&A things. Do you think United would target a right winger?
No, because we got Anthony and Diallo, who scored actually. Because someone put in the chat he scored for Sunderland.
Yeah,
I think Diallo will be back.
So do you think that like it's going to be a situation where all these three will be competing throughout the whole season then?
Yeah, I said that at the beginning of the.
Because you have also Palesti coming in. I think he can't. I see Ten Hag kind of maybe liking them. So it's kind of like it's overloading now.
I forgot about Palestri. I think he'll be back up, and this is just me. This is just me. What I'm hoping people. So this is what I would do if I was Ten Hag. Have Anthony and Diallo competing for that spot, and then Palestri backing those two. And then you've got Rashford and Garnacho over the other side. If you want to say Sancho can play either wing, that's cool. I like them as options because I like all of those players there for different reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Do they obviously Palestri, I just like it. Eddie made the point. People don't like it. I don't particularly like it. If you're an athlete and you play out wide and you're direct and you're a willing runner and you have and your team has any form of possession, you will get chance. This is why Nunes scores goals. This is why Nunes will be somebody like, is he good enough to get? And I use him as the example because he's a prime example of what I'm talking about. He's just a willing runner. He's direct. When you're a willing runner and direct, whether that's central or out wide, and Liverpool have enough of the ball even in a poor season, this is why he scores goals. And this is the reason why Joao Felix can't buy a goal. And that's not a shock because if we compare the two players, we know who the better player is. Joao Felix is levels clear of Nunes. Levels clear of Nunes. But even though Joao Felix has been, I bet in the time Joao Felix has been here and Nunes has been here, Nunes has outscored him. And you can't even hit us with the team tax because they're both trash. Just being a willing runner. Just being a willing runner is enough. That's how Eddie said it. Why Rashford scored, and Rashford's been cold this season, no game mistaken. And I like how he's improved off the ball. But just running in behind and being a willing runner will get you goals. Timo Werner, who we laugh at and clowned. How many missed chances did he have in this league? So much that it was compilations worth. But how was he continuing to get into these positions if he was so poor? Because he's just a willing runner. And he's not even power, he's just pace. Like he was just electric. Like, that's what it is. Why the likes of Dan James last so long? When you get found out. He lacks the power part of it. But he's quick. But when you're pace and power, like I say in particular, that's why it's not just one, it's both of them people. You see it. So yeah, I like Palestri. I forgot about him, but I do like Palestri just because he gives us a different option.
I would probably put Palestri out on the loan.
First, that's fair.
I think
in the Premier League, Championship,
Premier League, Championship, just somewhere where he can continue to develop. I think with him, he's shown an ability to do a job, but not enough for me to be like, yeah, I'm invested in your future just yet. Like I've seen him come on and make a difference, which is good. But again, people, Elanga scored a goal against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League knockout stages. Like with these moments, my fault, you can hear that in the back.
Nah, it's calm. He did. Yeah. You right.
With these moments, I'm just like, I see a little bit of, I see something there. But let me see it when you're legit a focal point somewhere, and the other team knows that you're coming in, and they send their best players at you to try and stop you. Let me see it then, and then I can be like, you know what? Yeah, he has a future with the club, but I just need to see it a little bit more. That's it.
Yeah. I think to get to the final few questions, people, as well. Gojo says, Flawless, would you take Joao Felix as our priority signing if Chelsea don't take him? No, for the same reasons I just spoke about, and it's the lack of pace and power. Joao Felix is a bad boy. I think he's super talented, but the prices they're talking, I don't want to pay that for anybody not called Kylian Mbappe. You're talking 90, 100 million, 110 million, 120 million. No. And that's not just him. That's any player, again, I repeat, not called Kylian Mbappe. And I rate Joao Felix, but I've watched him struggle at Chelsea. I've watched it happen. Has he been their bright spark? Absolutely. Has he been bad at Chelsea? No. He hasn't been bad at Chelsea. I think he's actually been good at Chelsea. But guess what? Good's not good enough.
Nah.
And if we're talking 100 and 120 million, you have to be better than good. Good is not good enough. Good sides don't win the Premier League. Great sides do. Exceptional sides do. Phenomenal sides do. When is good enough? You know what good is? Good squad player. Yeah. It's ironic that when we say squad player, we use good as the verb to describe it. We say good squad player. It's rare we say great squad player, exceptional squad player, world-class squad player. Occasionally someone might get that. You know what I'm saying? And a Romero or somebody like that when we had him. But most part, what did me, Eddie and Jez all saying, you lot in the chat, oh yeah, I think he's a good squad player. Good's not good enough. How many when City were doing their thing and dominating, how many good players did they have in their starting lineups? Or would you describe them as great? Same with Liverpool when they had their 2-year run. Their players were better than good. Alisson was better than good. Your Van Dijk, Trent, Robertson, Fabinho, Salah, Mane, Firmino. They were all better than good. So we have to aim for better than good. Good is not good enough if you are trying to compete for top honors. But that's not a shot at Joao Felix, people. I think he's a baller. I just don't think he'd succeed here. It is big up Jez as well every single time.
He will see. Yes, appreciate you, Jez. He would do well with more athletes around him. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like if you put him and you put someone like a Leao, right, on his right or left, right, and they have Nkunku, right? They got an Nkunku. You got that level of speed. They will legit drag the rest of that back and give him some space in front to work with. But right now, who's on each side of him?
Yeah.
I fucking Pulisic and Havertz. Y'all ain't no threats like that. Y'all really don't scare nobody. So he just needs space. I think he's a great player, but like I said, he will struggle without players around him. Like those players who use the ball to get space need players around them. We can't expect them to be beating the level of athletes that we have playing fullback. Here's the thing, right?
Yeah, it's athletic people at fullback.
People at fullback. I'm looking at Dan Burns' ugly ass. Dan Burn, about 6'3", 6'4", 112. He's 6'6". My fault, Dan Burn. I took 2 inches off pause. He's like 6'6", and he runs the way he does, and he's a dickhead. That's a bad combination to have for a defender, to cheat on a defender. And you're Anthony. You got to use the ball well to get past a dude like that.
Mm-hmm.
right? Same thing for a Sancho, right? I'm just bro. It's the Prem is who else has it? Fucking doesn't Leicester have some 6'6" brother playing center back?
They do have someone. Yeah. They do
See
have
what I'm
someone.
saying?
So, yeah, they do.
That's what it is, bro. That's just what it is. That's what the game calls for.
That is, and that's just unfortunate because again, people, Joao Felix, bad boy, but I think he's a good player, and that's it. I need better than good. And then when you need a player to, like Eddie said, you have to facilitate for, then you need all the and I think that's just Sancho, and that's not their fault. I can't blame. I need to see more from them, yes, like Sancho in particular, but I'm not fully blaming him because I know with better players around him, then he would be better. And that's on the club. You should give your employees the best possible platform to succeed. Like any of you lot, well, the majority of you lot will work day jobs, night jobs. And if your employee didn't give you the best possible chance to succeed, you're going to kick off, and rightfully so. You're not helping me succeed. I'm saying, give me everything. Give me all the tools I need at my disposal. You need me to do a Microsoft Excel document, but you've not given me a laptop. You know what I'm saying? Like, help me, help you. You know what I'm saying? And I got to do it on pen and paper. Like, put it on the laptop. That makes it much easier, and I can do it much more efficient. Like, so that's how I look at it with Joao Felix before anyone gets onto me as well. Stephanie G says, flawless, the captaincy at United concerns me. Do you think it should be changed now or next season? And who's in yours and Eddie's opinion gets the armband and why? Maybe Varane, Casemiro. They're the two that stand out.
Let me see it again.
Martinez, I'll let you read the question again. Yeah. Stephanie, what I say before Eddie talks about it, I think it's overestimated the importance of the captain's armband. Because I think if you're a captain, you'll display those attributes anyway. If you're a leader, you're going to lead regardless.
Right.
And that's what, like Martinez, you can clearly see as a leader. Varane, you can clearly see as a leader. Casemiro, you can clearly see as a leader. None of those three players have the armband. So I don't think you give them the armband. Say you give it to Casemiro, the armband to Casemiro in the summer. He then becomes more of a leader and does more things. Like, he's going to do that regardless. Like I've said it before, all successful captains we've had in the past were all captains before they got the armband. Like Gary Neville, you know what I'm saying? Roy Keane, McAllister, Bruce, Astama, Dennis Irwin, like a Scholes, like a Rio Ferdinand, a Vidic, Van der Sar. Like, all of these players were captains before they got the armband. They displayed leadership qualities, Paul Ince, like they were those characters. So they don't necessarily need the armband. But I reckon it'll be one of the new. It'll be either Varane, Martinez, or Casemiro. I think it will be one of those three. I just don't think you can give the captaincy to a new player. I'm not sure how well you read him speak English. I'm not too sure about that. And Varane obviously wasn't fit the season before. Yeah, go on, Eddie.
Yeah, I believe I'm with you. I think, one thing people have to understand is your captain's not always going to be your best player. That's what really has to be. Like, if it was up to me, just off of seniority, it'd be De Gea because he's been here the longest. He might have been a part of it. He's the most accomplished player at the club right now. So I mean, not named Casemiro, of course, but and Varane, yeah. But I don't really mind the captaincy because, like you said, Flawless, like sometimes people really aren't listening to the captain as much as they're listening to somebody else on that squad. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that deep. For me, like, the captaincy is not that deep. I think I would probably give it to, in an ideal world, I think I just give it to De Gea. Speaks English. Yeah, most senior player on our team. Like, I give it to him.
That's fair enough. And I mean, you're not wrong. You are even here. In all the seriousness, might be a bad opinion with the laughing emoji, but I want 3 in every position: a regular, a backup, and then a youth player. I feel then we have a good
shout out to Emma, real one.
Not against this. The youth player part is just extra, but I'm not against the youth player part.
No, and I'm not against having all them players taking all them players in. You're not wrong.
Yeah. Like that works, Emma. Like that definitely where we should be. Zlatan there says I'd give the captaincy to Casemiro first. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it would probably be me, probably be Martinez or Casemiro personally. But like I said, I'm not sure on the English because I want the air moved on. So it would be those two personally. Like they're the ones that display the most captain-like things in terms of vocal and like playing style. Whereas Varane, I think, is a more cool, calm head. But I think they play. I think when Varane speaks, they listen.
Oh, and people,
without doubt.
And people, I'm not saying that I'd keep De Gea at all. I'm just saying if I had to choose a manager, a captain today,
that's fair.
Like people, I used to be one of them. I can't believe you talk about David De Gea in such a manner. Then, then Liverpool happened, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm cool off of anybody leaving. I don't care. As long as the four that are new stay, anybody else are Rivaderci, in my opinion.
First. And hey, you lot, I know I didn't do too many like checks, but make you lot actually been hitting the like. One more, get us up to 60 likes. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new people. 6,252 subscribers we're currently on. So hit the subscribe button. We are gonna close out the show. I don't think Eddie's anything else you want to touch on because obviously that McAllister debate, which was good. McAllister debate was good. It was good. I enjoyed it.
First off, Mo, if can you click on Mo's Martial comment, please?
What way he says, yeah, this is crazy. One sec, I'll get to it one sec. It just moved. Bear with me.
Yeah.
What is going on here? What is my
hey man, let me tell you something, man. Shout out to Tony Martial. Scores in a multitude of ways, if you dig what I'm talking about. This is what you know they really rocking with you. They really riding for you, dog. Because she really on the turnpike trying to chase down. Oh, Lord. Let me tell you something, man. Get you one like that. But love for the love, man. You already know, man. Hey, man, I'm serious. Get you one like that, man. She kind of catch a case for your boy for the love of Martial. Hello, come on, man. He knows how to pick him.
This guy a joke, man.
Yeah, but hey, man, let's get this dub tomorrow. I might make it and then just sleep afterwards because it's like a real early.
Yeah, it's early for you. Yeah, it's early.
Yeah, man. Love for the love always, dog.
It's early. Yeah, man. Every single time.
Shout out to the chat. Everybody in the chat too. Everybody in the chat. That McAllister conversation was a real one. So yeah,
I enjoyed that. It was good. You know what I'm saying? And that it was good. You know what I'm saying? It really was. I enjoyed debates like that. Stephanie G, big up. So yeah, man, no hard feelings. You lot know what it is. Regular. If you're new here and you're like, the conversation, you know what I'm saying, was a bit wild. That's just how we debate. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. Like me and Eddie have got into it over things, and others in the chat. It's happened before, but it's all we're doing is talking football. It's the most important of least important things. That's all it is. But yeah, we're back, people. We're getting 3 live watch along, so we're back at midnight for the ManDem United crossover. You're getting the Manchester United Chelsea Spurs show. I can't do it tomorrow because it's Lewis's birthday. Shout out to King Lou every single time. We're doing it tonight, people, at midnight. So we're doing it at midnight. I think it was Stephanie G who said this is like. Did you say it's like the House of Commons? I think she said I was dying something like that.
Shout out.
So large up HKN, big up everyone, man. Let me see who's live. We'll raid someone right now. Someone's gonna be live at this time. Let me see. Wow, no one's live. Crazy. Surprised? Yeah, no one's live. All right, cool. I'll just send you lot to the Manchester United Chelsea Spurs show. That'll be at midnight. Jez, who made an appearance, he'll be on. Surfer will be on, and Peter will be on. So I'm discussing all the craziness at Chelsea, Spurs being managerless as well. Obviously, Spurs play Brighton, so the McAllister conversation is probably about to get reloaded as well. Yes, Lord, you don't challenge each other as long as it's like genuine challenge. Then yeah, as long as man ain't disagreeing just to disagree, that's cool. That's what I don't like in the chat. Man don't be paying attention, and like HKN's still here. You know what I'm saying? Mo and other Star-Lord, we disagree on a lot, but it's calm. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, love to everyone that's locked in. Make sure you go check out the Matisse, what's it called, innit? Make sure you go check out the Sarcasm City TV special I did with Matisse as well. Make sure you check that out. But love to everyone that's locked in. ManDem United podcast is by itself, is back 4:30 p.m. But see you lot at midnight. Big up.